Yo, what's going on? So, just a debate with Six. My voice is pretty gone if you can't tell. But basically, we're debating on whether or not Genjutsu works crossverse. Now, the first 30 minutes, which he's going to upload it on his side, I'm going to upload it on my side. First 30 minutes on my side, I forgot to have it to where the desktop audio was on. So, definitely go watch his version of it to get the full scope. But I just want to run you guys down basically what the first 30 minutes were, what we were talking about, and key points. The biggest thing that we were talking about, we went a little bit into like how chakra, or how people on Earth don't have chakra. Like there are people on Earth who don't have chakra. Back and forth on interpretations on that. Essentially, I'll put this scan on the screen. I showed that there are people in the Shinobi world who don't have chakra, according to Shikamaru Hiden, and then according to Kodachi in I believe chapter 40, it's one of the Shinobi science columns. I showcased that he's also heavily implying that there are people who don't have chakra, and then Six agreed that, as you'll see in his recording, hopefully if he keeps the entire thing in there. Six agreed that everybody on Earth can be affected by Genjutsu. So that would include people without chakra. Now, if that's the case, then that should mean that Genjutsu works on people without chakra, and therefore chakra is not a prerequisite in the target in order for it to work. We get into later what chakra exactly means in terms of whether it's stamina, if it's molded chakra, etc. But that was the key point there. But then he brought up this scan where Naruto says that everybody in Naruto, everybody in the world has chakra. So then I basically questioned it and I said, well, Naruto is making a biological claim, correct? Because it's a biological system, right? And he's like, yeah. I say, okay, well, if he's making a biological claim, we have to either assume that he's reliable in this matter, or we have to establish, likelihood that he is or that he's not. So I sent this scan, which talks about how, most shinobi on the front lines have, a well-rounded scientific knowledge, but Naruto is an exception to that, which means that Naruto is not as scientifically minded as most people are, which calls into question the idea about whether or not he'd be reliable for making scientific claims. Six then pivoted and started talking about how, well, he doesn't have to know that because he's got sensory. He's got like Sage Mode sensory, so he should be able to tell whenever he encounters people whether or not they have chakra. So then we got into whether or not Sage Mode is passively using this sensory, or if it's something that he actively has to do, because if it's passive, maybe he would be able to just passively sense people whenever he comes across them. Now, usually he's using Sage Mode in battle, so it wouldn't really matter. He'd only be fighting people who have chakra. He's probably not like sensing the daimyo or anything, as like, Shikamaru Hiden scan, as that sort of implies the daimyo doesn't have chakra. But if he has passive sensory, at least it raises the probability for him sensing somebody without chakra if they don't have chakra. There are people who don't have chakra, right? So then that's kind of where we pick up here is the passive chakra sensory for Sage Mode, whether or not it exists. And then we get into a bunch of mayhem here in a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let us know, what you guys think in the comments below. Definitely go watch Six's version of this. He's going to have like 30 more minutes on the front end because for whatever reason, the audio didn't record on my end for the first part. But check that out. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of the video. Bye-bye. Cool. So you were talking about how like he has Sage Mode, so he'd just be able to like sense everybody he comes in contact with, essentially, right? And if anybody didn't have chakra, he would know. That presupposes that it's like passive, or that he's like actively doing that and like checking everyone, right? So the scan that you posted was goes to show how in Sage Mode both threat perception and attack capacity are enhanced well beyond the ordinary. Awesome. This doesn't showcase that it's passive.
I think we could actually. I don't truly feel like arguing over that. I think we could actually just start talking about how shinobi detect people in general, because I know you have the opinion. You haven't said this yet, but because of your stream, I know you have the opinion that. Wait, actually, no, that was someone else. Do you have the opinion that you can just sense physical and mental energies?
Yeah.
Okay.
So real quick, before we move on from the sensory thing, so Jiraiya is still in Sage Mode whenever he gets his arm blown off, and the Osteopath specifically says he let his guard down. So
no, that's him saying he didn't let his guard down.
He says, "You taught me not to let my guard down, Master Jiraiya."
Right. Yeah.
Right.
He's responding to something Jiraiya said earlier, because Jiraiya is like, "Oh, you got caught in this Genjutsu, you let your guard down." He's like, "No, I didn't. I summoned these things."
So let me see. Let
So
on the
look at
chapter
when
right now.
When Pain's in the Genjutsu, it's like chapter
Yep.
380.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
No,
looking at
3
379. Yeah, so he says, Master
yeah,
Jiraiya,
379.
you have that jutsu, and he says, I thought I taught you, Nagato, not to let your guard down, no matter who your opponent is. Nagato,
Yeah.
you erred in your decision, blah, blah. And then he appears behind him after he's fairly certain he's brought them down because he's like, he puts all the things in him, says this Genjutsu song tuckers out the throat. It's really hard. And then he's like, my apologies, please take your rest now. So he's telling them to rest for I've made my selection. And then immediately Ashura pops up behind him and says, you taught me not to let my guard down, Master Jiraiya. And then he gets his arm blown off. So
Yeah.
are you under the interpretation he like blitzed him here? Like perception blitzed his Sage Mode sensory?
Well, I don't think that Jiraiya has that. I'm not
Why
gonna lie, because if you remember earlier, the animal path was hiding, and Jiraiya couldn't detect it. So I don't think Jiraiya has the Sage Mode sensory.
I mean, then the Naruto is able to detect it with Sage Mode in the Itachi fight? Is that what you're saying? So like he's able to detect it, but then Jiraiya is not able
Sage
to?
Mode in the Itachi fight? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't think he does that in Sage Mode in the Itachi fight. So why would that?
What are you talking about?
So so Naruto, for example, like because you're saying because he wasn't able to sense the chameleon, you don't think he has Sage Mode sensory. But that only really works if you display that Sage Mode sensory could sense the chameleon.
It's a thing using chakra, and even if he doesn't sense the chameleon, he could have sensed pain.
Unless it's concealing their presence in there. Like I don't
No,
why is that a
I
problem?
don't think it does that.
I mean, your
Why are
interpretation
you
relies
saying
on
that
the
this
idea that it
chameleon
doesn't.
seals their presence?
So okay.
Yeah, my interpretation relies on the idea of a lot of things. You're gonna call out every one of them. Give some substantiation to that.
Well, okay. But what you just said is I have a lot of presuppositions here, and you're calling them out, Sage. So
No,
essentially,
that's not what I said. I said it relies on a lot of things. Like I could sit here and poke at infinite possibilities in your argument. And we're not gonna go anywhere. I'm saying
Sure.
give some substantiation to this claim. That way I can respond to it.
well, so okay. So my claim was, we at least have reason to believe that Naruto is not going to be reliable in scientific claims. And then
No, not that far
well,
back.
well, hold
We
on,
don't need to go that
just
far
let me
back.
just let me land it. So that's where this started, right? And then you talked about how he doesn't really need to be in order to be able to know whether or not people have chakra because he's going to be encountering people, he can sense them. And I was like, just like all the time. And you're like, well, he's going to go back, he's going to be in Sage Mode at some point in time, he should be able to sense them, right? So then we got into whether or not it's actually passive. The scan that you posted.
Why are you going back this far?
Because this is.
we're talking about this current claim. Let's talk
I
about
understand.
this
Just
current
I
claim.
promise it's going to be relevant. So they would talk about whether or not it's passive, and then because like this scan doesn't talk about how it's passive, and then I was like, well, I also think something that helps with like my position would be that Jiraiya obviously doesn't sense the Asura path, and then you said, well, I don't think he has it because he couldn't sense the chameleon. And I said, well, maybe the chameleon's able to cloak itself in some capacity. And then you said,
That's
well,
just some
I don't
random
think so.
possibility.
Right, but they're both. So literally both of those are rooted in logical possibility. That's the only basis for them, right? We're just.
Fuck, no, not just logical possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I make a claim, right, which is Jiraiya should be able to sense the chameleon, because we know only Otsutsuki can completely erase their chakra signature. I make a claim Jiraiya should be able to sense the chameleon. You say, okay, maybe the chameleon can just cloak itself completely, like it can hide its chakra and everything like that. I'm saying give some substantiation to the fact that the chameleon can hide everything about itself, and then I'll start to engage with that argument. Because as it stands now, you could have also said right there, well, there might be a magical unicorn off panel that is cloaking the chameleon's chakra for itself. That's also just logically possible.
Okay, 6. But literally, the only thing that your position is rooted in is possibility. Because you said, I think he should be able to sense it in Sage Mode without giving any substantiation. So I said, well, it's possible he could just cloak
Sage
himself.
Mode has sensory.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that's a no limits fallacy to say it could just sense anything.
That's
right?
not a no limits fallacy. What
Okay,
the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say it can sense anything. I said
Okay.
it has sensory. You didn't
Sure.
even let me get off the ground with that. It has sensory. Yes.
Awesome.
It has sensory.
Yep.
The chameleon has chakra. Yes. And chakra rods sticking out of it. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So he should be able to sense the chakra because he can sense chakra.
unless it's able to cloak its presence somehow. So,
Okay, now give substantiation for that.
but you
Why
okay,
can it
you
cloak its chakra?
you talking about that doesn't provide likelihood that he can sense it.
Sage. My point here is you can bring up any possibility, regardless of the likelihood that I bring up. What you are bringing up now, since it has no substantiation, I do not have to engage with because you could just do this infinitely. This is just the possibility you chose to roll with.
Okay.
But you could pick anything.
Yeah, that's true because yours is also not substantiated in the sense that there's no likelihood provided to it. So if you're saying he should be able to sense it because it has chakra and he can sense chakra, and I say, okay, cool, that would make sense unless it's able to somehow cloak its chakra.
Okay.
And then you say, well, there's no substantiation to that.
That possibility is completely made up. I know Jiraiya can sense chakra, and I know that this thing has chakra. Its ability to cloak itself and its chakra is something you completely made up.
No, I'm not saying that it can. That's the point. Your position relies on the idea that it can't.
Holy fuck.
So, okay, 6.
No. Yes, no. Sage. It doesn't. All that has to be true for my position is that Jiraiya can sense chakra and this thing has chakra. Whether or not it can hide its chakra, which I don't think it can because I think only Otsutsuki can hide their chakra. Whether or not it can hide its chakra is a complete new ability that's never been displayed before that you are saying it might have. I agree it's logically possible for it to have that ability. That does not give it any further substantiation, but my claim has the two substantiations that both Jiraiya can sense chakra and this thing has it.
Okay, got you. So, again, so you can make that claim that this thing has chakra, Jiraiya can sense chakra, and you can say, therefore, he should be able to sense it. However, if it's possible that it can cloak its chakra signature in some capacity at all, then that puts a buttress on your claim. Because then in order for your claim to go through, you have to assume that it can't do that. At least to a significant enough degree to where he wouldn't be able to sense it.
Do you know how many things you assume on every claim
That's fine. If you call me out on them, I'm going to have to defend them. But 6, it doesn't matter if I'm assuming
That's
things.
why that type of debating is reductive to any sort of progression.
It's really not.
You can make a claim. No, it is. You can make a claim, and I could point out I could point out an infinite number of possibilities over and over again. And then we just debate till one of us goes to sleep? No, provide some sort of substantiation for the argument. Just some. Give me any reason to believe that thing can cloak its chakra signature.
Okay, again, it's 100% not necessary because your position relies on the.
I'm done with the whole thing.
6, like. Okay, just listen.
No,
so
that's
we could
ridiculous and retarded.
Okay, so here's what I'll do. Six. Here's what I'll do. Yeah. Okay, so here's no 6. Listen. Here's what I'll do.
No.
Listen, 6. You gotta listen.
Move on or stop.
Okay, listen. You gotta listen to me.
Move on or stop.
Okay, hold on. You gotta listen.
Move on.
We can steel man that position. That's okay, but that it still doesn't. We can steel man your position. That like he should be able to sense it, right? Even though that doesn't necessarily go through, but we can steel man. I'm fine with that because it doesn't add any likelihood to the original point as to whether or not they have passive sensory. You haven't applied any likelihood to that.
I said we can move on from that. You brought me back here.
Wait, hold on.
We can move on from this. I don't want to talk about it. You said, no, actually, I want to bring this up. And then you started talking about Jiraiya getting caught off guard. I said, it doesn't apply to Jiraiya. I think that this statement applies to Pain not getting caught off guard. And you said,
okay, we can go from there. Yeah.
I did not talk about the passive shit. You brought me back here. You did.
Well, hold on. 6. The whole reason the passive thing got brought up is because you said, well, Naruto...
I was going to go on to something else. I know
we can.
Got brought up. Stop running me down the whole debate every fucking point.
Okay,
no,
6.
No,
6.
No.
Simmer down. 1 second.
No.
Okay, where do you want to go from?
Okay, so we're moving on from all this shit. We're gonna go to another point.
What do you mean by all this shit?
the passive shit, the Jiraiya shit, we're moving on from all this. We're going to another point.
So do you want from here?
Hold on.
Just let me clarify.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to clarify. I'm the one talking.
Go ahead.
I gave the position of why you cannot just bring up random possibilities. Do you agree with that or not?
Well, it totally depends on the if it's a totally random possibility that like for example, if I were to say, oh well, maybe Jiraiya's tummy hurt and he was distracted. Well, hold on, right? Like if I was like maybe Jiraiya's tummy hurt and he was distracted, like sure, like I think that's stupid. I'm not going to do something like that. But for something like the chameleon, which can conceal itself in some sense, for me to say it's also possible it can conceal itself in another sense, I don't think that's crazy. But we can still move on from it. But the whole reason, because this is what I wanted to clarify, when you say we can move on from this, are you saying that we steel man the position on both sides and move on and just basically say, okay, well, on one side, if
you think you win the point, fine, take it. I don't give a fuck. I thought I won the point. I'm going to take it. We're going to move.
Well, that would be us steel manning the point on both sides. I think that's fine. So that the overall point was as to whether or not Naruto would be a reliable metric for determining if everyone on the planet had chakra. That was the original point, and you brought up how he should be able to sense them. I said that presupposes this isn't for you. This isn't for you. This is for the people that are going to be listening. So just to show them where we're picking up from.
Do it in your post recording.
Okay, perfect.
I want to wrap this up.
So
and get the fuck out
so where do you want to pick up from then?
Okay, so when it comes to Naruto being a reliable source and whatnot, right? I think that, like I said, Naruto can sense chakra, right?
Sure.
And this is another thing I was going to go back to. That's why I brought up the whole random possibilities thing. Another thing I was going to go back to. Naruto can sense chakra. Why do you not think Naruto is a reliable source?
Well, he's specifically highlighted as somebody who's not well-rounded scientifically.
Not well-rounded scientifically.
To juxtapose.
We went over that earlier.
Right.
You don't have to be well-rounded scientifically to talk about one thing in science, right?
Sure.
So why do you think that Naruto is not a reliable source?
It's not my burden to showcase that he's not, because
I didn't say it was.
I'm aware. Hold on. I'm saying. You got to let me finish, brother.
Hold on. I understand. I know I'm being a little ridiculous right now.
No, you're good.
I just got mad earlier, right?
No, you're good, bro.
But I want to clarify this because even if we have a debate in the future, I want this to be clarified.
Yeah.
Okay. When I ask you something, I'm not saying that it is your burden to do so.
Got you.
But you are questioning my position, or you're saying that an entailment of my position is that Naruto is a reliable source, right?
Right.
In order for me to engage with that, it's going to be back to the infinite possibilities thing. In order for me to engage with that in any meaningful or productive way, there needs to be a reason to believe that he's not a reliable source on this specific thing.
Well, that's not true.
Otherwise, okay.
Like I just fundamentally disagree with that because what you just said.
Okay, yeah.
Can I just respond to that really quick? Just really quick.
Wait, hold on. You fundamentally disagree. Good.
Okay. With that in particular. Line of thinking.
Wait.
So hold on, Six. Please just let me finish, brother. Because you cut me off when I said I fundamentally disagree. Because what you just said is okay. Well, I am asserting, or my claim entails that Naruto is reliable, or is at least most reasonably going to be reliable. Even if you just make a plausibility argument, you don't have to make it likelihood. So if your claim entails that, then the burden of proof is on you to justify that. And just because I don't list reasons as to why he's not reliable, despite the fact that I did, like that doesn't mean anything. Because if you have a claim that entails a conclusion, it's up to you to justify that. That's just how debate works, because otherwise we end up in an equal interpretation, and then whoever is making the initial claim, the claim fails.
Sage, this entailment bullshit is the same thing with the infinite possibilities bullshit.
It's not.
It is. You can bring up an infinite number of entailments to that fucking claim.
Okay,
infinite.
So 6. For example, if there were a statement in the series that said Naruto can sense the chakra of everybody on the planet, you could use that to justify that entailment, right?
And
okay, so if it's possible for claims, for claims that can have their probability raised. 1 second. For claims that can have their probability raised, It's like you
That's
should
just
do
something we
that,
both
and
already
that's
know.
that's how you
Yeah,
defeat the
hold on.
infinite regression. Because
Wait,
if
hold
some
on.
because hold on,
Hold on.
because
That-
by adding just let me finish. Let me land the plane. So because if there's a position that you have and you add likelihood to it, or even reasonability or plausibility to
Okay.
it, then it goes above every other possibility. That's just how it
Okay,
works.
Sage. Now, let's say about the chakra on the planet thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I send you that scan that says Naruto can sense the chakra of everyone on the planet,
Right.
what if you say in response, well, why is the narrator here a valid source?
Well, I wouldn't because
Wait, stop,
okay,
stop,
go ahead.
fuck,
Go ahead.
stop.
Go ahead.
You might not.
Mm-hmm.
That is whatever. Okay. Sage is a good dude. Clap it up for Sage. You might not. But the fact is, under your way that you like to debate, you can, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay,
There's no separation between. I'm not done.
Yeah, you're good.
I realized I took a pause. That was
No, you're good. You're good.
yeah. There's no separation there between the probable and possible, other than specifically what you want to accept. That's not fair to anyone. That's why I'm saying there needs to be some level of substantiation given for those things in order for it to not pass. Because if not, we can just go on an infinite regress.
Okay, so this is why I disagree with that. Because if you provide likelihood to your position, so in that example, right? If I'm like, well,
Likelihood is subjective.
well, it's really not. But you can literally, based
is.
on, okay, if we're adhering to the laws of logic, then it's not. If you are assuming that the laws of logic,
interpretation of those is subjective.
it's really not, because likelihood would just mean more likely than not on a percentage basis.
The interpretations of those are subjective.
The interpretation of the laws of logic.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. You can also
mind-dependent.
find sources which allow for like you raising probability on those. But my
source
point
is going to be
hold
written
on,
by
hold on.
someone.
It's 6. You got to let me finish. So whenever we're talking about something like that, and we're talking about infinite regression, and you say, oh well, you could just ask me why the narrator is reliable. Okay, well, if it's in a data book or something, I can say expository reference text. Therefore, the majority of the information is going to be factual based on the nature of expository reference text. If it's in the manga,
fucking
you
God.
you
Oh
just
my
well,
fucking
hold
God.
on.
Hold on.
If it's in a manga, you can raise probability for it
Wait,
just
no,
by
you're not-
virtue
you're
of it
not
being
understanding
canon.
me. You're
Like
not understanding me.
no,
You're not
I no
understanding me.
sick.
You're not
I get what you're coming, but you're saying
you don't. No,
Six,
you don't.
Six, let me
No,
land the
no,
plane,
no.
bro. Just let me land the plane. You can address everything I just said. Six, brother, you gotta let me finish. I just let you talk uninterrupted.
You're asking me to let you land the plane.
6,
when you've
I just
already
let you
done
talk.
multiple loops in the
Okay,
air.
but I'm almost done. I just let you talk uninterrupted. So I'm almost done.
I understand.
Okay,
you let me
just
talk, but you don't understand what I'm
Six,
saying.
I got
So
you.
you're
Just
not
listen.
responding to me
If
right now.
okay, if that's true, then you can address that after this. That's fine. But all I'm saying, just let me finish. All I'm saying is you saying, okay, well, you not applying likelihood to your side essentially. Like from your perspective, talking about me, if I'm not like adding substantiation to my side and I'm just listing possibilities, it leads to an infinite regress. That's not true if you establish likelihood for your position. And yeah, you can skepticize a bunch of stuff, but eventually you get to a point where that's just not the case. And also in the confines of this,
It's an infinite regress.
No, you don't
get to that point because it's
that's
fucking
not true.
infinite.
That's not true. It's an infinite regress is infinite. I agree with that. But if you provide likelihood for your claim, every other possibility is less likely. If you provide reasonability to your claim, every other position is less reasonable unless they also establish reasonability.
If there's infinite possibilities and an infinite regress, then there's not one that's more likely than the other.
That's not
Everything
true.
will just be possible.
6, that's
Yes,
fun.
Sage,
Fundamentally,
it's true. Stop.
Go ahead.
It's true because what is probability or what is probable is going to be subjective. So if I tell you, fuck it, hold up. Let's pick a random scan. Hold on. So there's this scan right here with Naruto about the shit I brought up earlier.
Right.
Every living thing has chakra, right?
right.
If I told you that this scan made it probable, and that it makes it probable because he says that chakra is a binding force, what are you gonna ask me?
If it makes it probable because chakra is a binding force, I would ask you how a binding force connects to the idea that everyone has chakra. Like that would be my question to that. Like if you're saying that, unless I'm just misunderstanding what you're saying.
And if I said, no, you're not. You literally respond with anything.
Yeah.
And if I said, well, because of the next panel,
I would say
and I
what
think
what in the
and
next
you're
panel?
like, okay, well, I don't, right? Like, well, I think that makes it probable. Hold on, my headset died. My headset died. Hold
You're
on.
good.
Sorry. Okay. I said the next panel makes it probable.
Okay, I would say what about the next panel?
Okay, but I already think it's probable.
That
I
doesn't matter.
already think I've established probability. I think I've already established probability based on those two panels.
Okay, I mean, you can think it all you want. It doesn't really matter. Like that. That's the. This is not leading to like an infinite regress in terms of what we were talking about.
Sage. The point is that all that whenever we're doing these connections, that is all that's happening. The only difference between what I just brought up and what we do normally is our accepting of the evidence. So say we're in this debate and I bring up those two panels that you don't agree with, right?
Right.
Okay, I bring up those two panels. What if you did agree?
If I were to agree, like
Does that make it
with your
probable that
interpretation, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like for something to be logically sound, the premises or the conclusion has to follow from the premise, and the premises and conclusion have to be true. So just because you state a bunch of stuff doesn't mean it's true, even if somebody agrees with you.
Oh my God.
And by the way, just
Saying
because
that,
just because wait, but just because I disagree with you doesn't mean it's not probable. But you can demonstrate that. You can demonstrate probability by demonstrating connectivity, by showcasing how it ties
Hold on,
to
Sage. The
epistemology.
demonstration of probability is always going to be determined on a person to person basis.
But six, I don't think that's true. Okay, so for example, for this, if this was the only piece of evidence that was put forth, right, and your position was all people in Naruto have chakra, and my position was not everybody in Naruto has chakra, and this was the only piece of evidence that was put forth, this would definitionally align with your claim, word for word. I would have to be less pragmatic in terms of going outside of this in order to justify my position. You would be relying on the empirical evidence, therefore, that you would have a piece of empirical evidence which aligns with your position, meaning you would have more argumentative weight, and therefore your argument would be the one that wins. Like that's just how debates work.
Sage. That is all due to your interpretations and understanding of those concepts.
Understanding for sure.
That can differ from person to person. That is what I'm saying. Because of that, whenever I bring something up and your response is simply something that has no substantiation, I should not have to respond to it.
Okay.
So
that depends.
In another world, hold up. In another world, where me and you agree on this, right? Mm-hmm. There's people who agree with me, right? There's people who agree with you.
Right.
In another world where me and you agree on this, I present this stuff to you, and you just say, "Yeah, I agree."
Sure.
But in this world, since you have the position that Genjutsu works on people cross-verse, you have it, so you're going to disagree that Naruto is a reliable source, right? I'm fine with you disagreeing that Naruto is a reliable source.
I'm not even disagreeing, to be honest.
What?
I'm not even disagreeing. I'm just saying we don't know. We can't substantiate the idea that he is. And in order for that claim to have any weight, we'd have to substantiate it. That's my position.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter if you disagree.
Yeah.
Because you can be agnostic, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But in order for you to stand opposed to me, because that's what an agnostic is. An agnostic has to be opposed. In order for you to stand opposed to me on Naruto being a reliable source, there has to be a reason to believe that he's not a reliable source on this matter. 50,
right.
60?
50 out of okay, so we got like 10 minutes left. So I put one forth that he's making a biological claim and he's not scientifically well-rounded, which allows for us to say that we're uncertain as to whether or not he would be a reliable source. But your position requires that he is a reliable source. So for me, I have substantiated the idea that we're questioning it. I haven't made the claim that he's not a reliable source. I said I'm not sure if he is, and then I put that forth. I think that substantiates at least the skepticism of that. But then your position requires that he more reasonably than not, at bare minimum, be a reliable source for this, which is why we got into the sage mode sensing.
I don't know why you keep bringing up the sage mode sensing.
Well, because that's why we got into that, because that's what we were using to justify it.
The point of Naruto being a reliable source, that I don't think that the scan you sent demonstrates any justification for skepticism on him not being a reliable source. There was definitely a change in the claim there. You definitely were saying earlier that you didn't think Naruto was a reliable source at all.
I said I don't think we can consider him one. That's what I said.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not necessarily the same thing. But yeah, go ahead.
It is the same thing.
Well, it's not, because if I say I'm not sure
you can consider him one.
Right. If I say I'm not sure we can consider him a reliable source, that means that I don't know whether or not he is. So if I'm saying we have reason to skepticize this, I'm not saying he isn't or he is, but your position entails that he is.
We can go back in the recording. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think you said the other thing. I don't think you said what you said right there. But how much more of this shit do we need to talk about?
Here's what I think. I think that if we just go from where we're at, we're gonna have to cut up so much of this shit. If we just go from where we're at, from whether or not he's a reliable source. Okay, that's fine. I just feel like people are gonna be having a little bit of a snooze fest in here. But if we just go from where we're at, and it's okay, we're talking about whether or not he's a reliable source. I listed that as a reason to skepticize it. You talked about the sage mode sensory in order to justify it. We can steelman both of those positions and move forward and go from there if you want.
I don't think that your scan does that.
That doesn't really matter. It doesn't do what?
Skepticizes that he's a reliable source on the matter.
Okay, so you accepted the claim that it's a biological statement. You accepted that a biological statement is science. Hold on, let me finish. You accepted the claim that a biological statement is scientific. What you're saying.
You don't have to say it all. You don't have to say it all.
So well, hold on. You just said I don't think that does that, and I'm responding to you. So you accepted those, and then I said, well, if this is a scientific statement,
but I know why you think it does. Mm-hmm. I said I don't think it does. Now I don't know why you think it does.
That's fine.
You fucking explain it to me.
You don't have to think it does. Like,
okay,
but
cool.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is you're like running me down the claims. I'm saying I don't need that.
That's okay. But you just said I don't think it does. I was just explaining the argument for it. If you already got it and you still don't think that it does, that's fine. But we got one of two options here. Yeah, we can either. Okay, go ahead.
I want to respond.
Go ahead.
No. So the reason I don't think it does is because even if it is a biological claim, he doesn't have to be, because all it says is Naruto's not well-rounded on scientific matters, right? He doesn't have to be well-rounded on scientific matters to know one scientific fact.
It's not the claim. Doesn't matter. That doesn't engage with the position at all.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because
your scan directly says all frontline shinobi, excluding exceptions such as Naruto, possess well-rounded scientific knowledge. You're saying because he's called out as someone who does not possess well-rounded scientific knowledge, that he is not, or we don't know if he's a reliable source for this claim, right? Okay, he does not have to possess well-rounded scientific knowledge to make that claim, right?
I think that's fine.
Or to be correct, right?
Okay, but would you agree?
Wait, no.
Okay, go ahead.
Answer the question.
Yes, no, 100%. It doesn't do anything for the end route.
Hold on. If he doesn't need to possess well-rounded knowledge in order to make the claim or be correct, then the fact that he does not possess it does not make him any less of a reliable source.
That's not true, because we don't know what it means by him not being well-rounded. For example, if he's not well-rounded in the sense that he's really hold on. Six, stop interrupting me, bro. So if it says, I'm just six. Let me explain. Six, you gotta stop interrupting me, bro. I just let you talk uninterrupted. So it says he's an exception yes, he's an exception as somebody who does not possess a well-rounded scientific knowledge, right? So we don't know whether or not he even has like the average well-roundedness of scientific knowledge. We don't know if he's a complete idiot when it comes to scientific knowledge. This calls into question his reliability in scientific knowledge in general. Is it possible that he's just a biological savant? Sure. Is it possible that he's an idiot when it comes to biology? Sure. What this does is it tells us that he's not even on the same level of your average shinobi in terms of scientific knowledge. So when he makes a scientific claim, we can't say whether or not he is reliable.
Shinobi.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Frontline shinobi.
And look at the people that they call out here.
Can I please just finish? Based on that,
I thought you were done.
Yeah. Sorry, I paused for a second. Just this last thing.
No, you got it.
Because we don't know whether or not he has any basis for understanding this on a scientific level, like a biological level, and you agree it's a biological claim, then we can't say that he actually is a reliable source. This doesn't mean he's not. This just puts into question whether he is. So then, because your claim entails that he is, you have to defend that position.
No, it doesn't. So nothing about what you just said even puts into question Naruto being a reliable source. He could be a complete fucking moron and still be correct about what he's saying here.
That's fine.
So none of that even matters. And then here, when look at the people they're calling out for frontline shinobi who have well scientific knowledge. Orochimaru and fucking Kabuto.
Yep.
Like we're talking.
Hold on.
Of the crop.
What comes right before that, Six? You're being dishonest. What comes right before that?
I'm not being dishonest.
The first sentence says shinobi can be outstanding scientists as well. Orochimaru, Kabuto, and Katasuke are representative examples. But even otherwise, all frontline shinobi, excluding exceptions like Naruto, possess well-rounded scientific knowledge. They're not fucking listing Orochimaru, Kabuto, and Katasuke as people with general well-rounded knowledge.
Wait, stop. I didn't read the first sentence.
Okay, got you. Okay. I was like, Six, what are we doing? Okay, my bad. I jumped to conclusions, bro. Oh my God. I was like, Six, no. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did not.
Oh my
okay,
God.
Hold up. Let me clarify. I read the first sentence, but then I read Orochimaru and Kabuto and didn't read the rest of it.
Oh my God, bro.
That's what happened.
Okay, so you weren't being dishonest.
Bad.
You just didn't see
Anyway,
it. Okay, that's on me.
Yeah. The other things I said about the things still stand, but yeah, the representative examples are not Kabuto and Orochimaru.
Okay, so again, like I agree with you. This doesn't inherently make it to where like he's not reliable. Like I agree with that. But what it does do is it questions his scientific knowledge in general. So if it's questioning his scientific knowledge in general, and we agree that this is a biological claim, aka a scientific claim, then it's putting into question his biological knowledge, at least in some sense. We don't know what, because again, he could be a savant in biology. We don't know. Like, but the fact that your position entails that at least a reasonability that he's reliable, then you would have to establish some reason for him being reliable.
We do. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, even though, like I said, I think everything I said before perfectly stands to defeat the bullshit Sage is doing here. But we do know that Naruto knows about like the chakra system and Tenketsu points and all those things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do know he has at least some type of biological knowledge, especially in the field that we're talking about specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. So, TG, what time are we at?
You literally have 20 seconds left to hit an hour.
Oh no.
Oh well, whatever.
Do we want to just steelman these positions and give the rest of the arguments, or like what do you want to do? Because I'm fine with that. I'm fine with moving on from this.
I mean, I'm fine. Yeah, let's just stop talking about fucking chakra in general.
Okay.
As much as possible. We're talking about Genjutsu.
Okay.
And we'll let's just talk about the Genjutsu specifically. Or were there any other things you wanted to bring? Because you sent some things that you didn't get to talk about.
Yeah, so I was just sending those. Like, so the first one was Toby Rama saying like he's not needing chakra right now, so he's not like sensing someone, which implies at least for him it's an active thing. Yeah. And then like
my response to that one is just, I mean, not needing chakra doesn't mean not having it. And continue.
I mean, that's fine, but like for the sake of the argument here, which obviously I disagree with that, but for the sake of the argument here, it's just talking about whether or not the sensory is like a passive thing. But we're talking about sage mode, so this doesn't really matter. But then for the sage mode thing, I just sent the sage mode scans of him
Oh
like,
yeah, you said this one. You said this one.
yeah, like he's in sage mode, and then it takes a minute before he actually senses, the war, things like that. Like, I think it's probably active, but like, there's no way to prove that it's passive. That's what that was about. And then we obviously went over the Jiraiya thing, and then we went over these scans. So the only other thing that I think would be worth talking about, and we kind of talked about this prior, is the fact that Kaguya is stated to be the first person on Earth with chakra. Hagoromo and Hamura are stated to be the first people born with chakra, which means that nobody else at that time was born with chakra. She still hit everybody with Infinite Tsukiyomi. So Infinite Tsukiyomi worked on people without chakra.
Yeah, so this is part of the reason I was saying I don't really care about
The Infinite Tsukiyomi. Yeah.
the Infinite Tsukuyomi working. Yeah, so I have two distinct issues with this. So either Infinite Tsukuyomi doesn't work the same as other Genjutsu, right? Or the people not having chakra doesn't mean that they didn't have the chakra networks. Now, of those two things, I would much rather talk about why I don't think Infinite Tsukuyomi is the same as other Genjutsu.
Okay, so yeah, we can get into that. So what do we know about Genjutsu, right? We know that
Well, if hold on,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think I'm almost positive that my reason will be easier to go over than yours.
sure,
So
yeah. Well,
the
just
Infinite
really
Tsukuyomi,
quick, I just want to post the scans about Kaguya being the first person with chakra, and then Hagoromo and Hamura being born, like first people born with chakra. So I think those are important. Are you fine with just accepting, like those claims?
do you think do you think Hagoromo and Hamura were born just with chakra passively in their body?
No, I think they're born with mental and physical energies. I think they were born with stamina, and I was actually going to add probability to that if we went into that.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, are you cool with like them? Because you know those statements, right? Like, I just don't want to have to fucking track these down if I don't have to. Became naturally born carrying chakra. It's the fucking it's the
Wait,
six
hold on, hold on.
646 thing.
Does he say that? Send that?
I got you. So I'm just gonna send you a few different ones. So here's one, first person endowed with chakra. You've got, and then those two are the first people.
Hagoromo one.
The Hagoromo one, oh, that's 646. It's here, I'll grab it really quick. It's when Mater was talking about it. He says the first people born with chakra. 646. But there's also a data book statement that says it. I need to track it down. Okay. Shoot the very first. Oh no, it's not this one. It's on this scan. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. So, well, we can just use this one. I already sent it in there. So it says that eating the chakra fruit, Kaguya became the sole person endowed with chakra. So she's the first person to have it. However, both children were naturally born carrying chakra. Originally a thing from her own personnel.
Oh, it says it right here. I thought you were gonna say something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there's that one, and there's another one that's more clear.
They
I
were
just need to
born
find it.
carrying chakra.
Yeah.
So they were born and they just had chakra.
Right. So it depends on what they mean by chakra, which is why this scan is super important. Because she says, I was born with a particularly powerful chakra. Based on what Ebisu says, people don't have chakra until they actively mold it. So that's why this gets important.
So there's two things, right? So either Ebisu is just dumbing it down for Naruto, and he's just like, well, imagine your chakra is 0, for example. Yeah, you said all the scans. Imagine your chakra is 0. You mold stamina to make even more chakra in order so that you can use jutsu and whatnot.
Right.
So
Yeah. So
I think that's what Ebisu is doing here.
So we see on the chart,
Because if you
on the left side of the first page on the chart, I ate my ramen and I slept well. I'm at full power, 100% stamina, 0 chakra.
it doesn't say that.
It's 100% stamina. There's nothing in the chakra bar. And then whenever he makes
Yeah,
30%,
I know,
right.
I know that there's nothing in the chakra bar, right? But like I'm saying, I think that there might be an amount of chakra you just have normally, and then you make more in order to do ninjutsu and things like that.
Right.
So
So,
then, like,
but the
if you
scans
look at
themselves. Okay, go ahead.
nigga, damn.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
If you look at the the second page you sent, the bottom left, you see there it says that he has 0% chakra.
And 0% stamina. So it's
Yeah,
captioning.
0% stamina.
Yeah, it's captioning if your stamina and chakra both fell to 0, you die. But we see above this, in the panel right above that on the left side, 70% stamina. Naruto has contributed 30% of his stamina to the creation of chakra. 70% of his stamina remains. So he takes 30% of his stamina, converts it into chakra, which fills 30%. So there's a direct 1-to-1 in terms of what he has stamina-wise versus what he produces
Yeah,
chakra-wise.
so if you like, I don't want to say track. I think that's a little rude. If you like track the argument, I'm just gonna say it. You track the argument here. I'm saying that the production of stamina here, while it might be 1-to-1 to chakra, as in like you're gonna use 30% of your stamina to make 30% chakra, I don't think that bar down there is displaying 0% chakra. I think it's displaying what the amount you have for your ninjutsu and whatnot.
So, but if it's directly 1-to-1, so he takes 30% of his stamina, and
That's
now he's
not what
got.
I'm saying.
Well, just real quick. So, because you said it's fine, like for it to be 1-to-1, except like you're talking about for like what you can produce for jutsu, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So,
if you look just reading like the chart flow normally, it goes straight into ninjutsu, right?
right.
And so you know how Ebisu he's saying in all these scans that if you make chakra and then you don't use all that chakra in ninjutsu, that chakra is just wasted, right?
Yep.
Like it's
It
just
just
gone.
goes away. Yeah.
Right, right. Wait, for one, do you believe that?
I mean, I think like in a general sense, yeah. I think that like for most shinobi, like I don't think that you can just store away your
So
chakra
this is
like
why
for
it was
most people.
important. This is why it was important earlier to go over the applications of chakra, right? Because there's applications of chakra outside of ninjutsu.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that for one, it doesn't make any sense that you mold chakra, you mold too much for a ninjutsu, so you just lose all that other chakra, right? I think it's the case that
Why does that not make
you have a
sense?
normal level of because there's applications of chakra outside of ninjutsu.
Right, but he's specifically talking about chakra efficiency here. He says, next one must use complex science to control and manipulate the chakra based on the individual technique. And then he shows it. And then he talks about in the next page, I believe. He says, first, in Sakura's case, when she initiates a technique, she's able to precisely convert 30% of her stamina into chakra. Then, because she can expertly control her chakra volume as well, when she begins weaving signs, she can clearly produce 3 copies of herself and still have 70% stamina. And then he compares it to Sasuke and Naruto and talks about how this is waste. Like, he's like, because they don't have the same level of chakra control, that extra chakra just doesn't get used. That's the whole point of this.
Okay, wait, but you said earlier you agreed that whenever they don't use the chakra's just gone.
Yeah, I think that it just gets expelled. Like it's basically in the sense that like if
so
he,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. So what I'm saying is there's uses for chakra outside of just ninjutsu. So
Sure.
not using all of that chakra specifically on a ninjutsu does not mean that it just gets erased.
That's not what he's talking about here, though. He's talking about the chakra
Okay.
efficiency and it being wasted because you don't have proper control. He's not saying it gets applied to other things.
You just said, and unless this is an agreement or something, an opinion you hold outside of what Obisu is saying, are you not saying that based on what Obisu is saying, if you do not use that chakra for the ninjutsu, it's gone?
Yes, if you mold chakra from your stamina in order to use it for a jutsu and you don't have proper chakra control, you're going to mold too much chakra, and whatever extra chakra is molded is going to just be gone. It's going to be wasted. It's like if you eat, something that has like a waste product in it. Like that's the same exact issue.
So you don't think you can use that chakra for anything else?
No, I think it gets wasted.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Just follow me here.
Yeah.
If you make chakra for ninjutsu and outside of a ninjutsu, it's just going to be wasted. Why is it the case that there are applications of chakra outside of ninjutsu?
Well, no, you obviously can make mold chakra to use it for things other than jutsu. What we're talking about here is whenever he's talking about like on the chart, okay, you mold 60% of your stamina into chakra, but really you only need 30. What happens with the other 30? He tells us, says since Sasuke cannot use or recycle the surplus chakra back into his stamina pool, that extra 10% goes to waste. So he's saying he can't use this surplus chakra for anything.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying here. Wait, hold on. Since Sasuke cannot use or recycle the surplus chakra back into his stamina pool, the extra 10% goes to waste, and he only has 60% of his stamina left in reserve. Okay. I think either Ebisu is fucking lying, or this shit just got this shit. Maybe isn't translated right. Maybe we should get another translation on this.
I have gotten it translated, but if you go to
we
the next
know
page,
that
it says the
there's
same thing
uses
about
for
Naruto.
chakra. Yeah, I understand. But we know that the usages for chakra go outside of just ninjutsu.
That's fine. You mold a certain amount of chakra for any technique. Like for example, like
No.
if somebody is like mold like using chakra to like bolster their speed or like heal somebody or fucking anything, right? For like sensing, like obviously they mold chakra to like sense other things, right? Like that's still them molding chakra for a particular technique. He's just using the example of like clones here. He's like using the example of them using a particular technique, but that doesn't mean that you don't mold it for other stuff.
Not. Hold on. But he says it goes to waste otherwise. He
Yeah.
in these scans, he's literally implying that you can only use chakra for nin and genjutsu.
No, he's not. No.
Yes, he
He said-
100%. He hold on. No, wait. No. He 100% implies that. He says, just go according to the Sasuke scan, he can create 3 clones of himself. But since Sasuke cannot use or recycle that surplus chakra back into his stamina, the extra 10% goes to waste. He's literally
Yes.
saying he cannot use it.
Yes, right, because he's already molded the stamina into chakra and he's putting it into a technique, but it's not actually something that he's efficient at, so part of that gets burned off effectively. He's
Okay,
not
wait,
so
no,
so it can't be
Sage,
recycled back
wait.
into his storage. That doesn't mean he can't use chakra for anything else.
No, Sage. It does say that. It says he cannot use or recycle it.
Okay, yes. Okay, so again, in this particular instance, what is he doing? He is weaving hand signs in order to perform a particular jutsu, right? Says he can also create 3 of himself. So he's talking about within the context of trying to create like shadow clones. But since Sasuke cannot use or recycle that surplus chakra back into his stamina pool, that extra 10% goes to waste. So when using a technique like shadow clones, and molding the adequate amount of chakra in order to produce the jutsu, if you're inefficient with it, whatever extra chakra is generated will go to waste. But if you use it for something like, punching a wall or, enhancing your sensory, you're still going to mold a certain amount of chakra for that technique, and then that's going to be put into that technique. He's talking about techniques in general. Do you think the only thing he thinks they can use are shadow
He
clones?
says ninjutsu and genjutsu.
Okay, and he also says in the beginning,
Does not take
he
these in
says in the case where ninja going to use taijutsu, stamina control is simple. Taijutsu do not require signs at all, nor with a few exceptions do they require chakra. So in some instances, taijutsu do require chakra. So just because he's using a ninjutsu example, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing he's saying chakra goes towards. This is not a 6. You got to know this is not a good argument.
Stop. I'm saying that this chart and the way you're interpreting it would imply that.
No, it
I'm not
wouldn't.
saying that that's exactly what he's saying. Yes, it would. I'm saying that this chart and the way you're interpreting it would imply that. What I
Tell
think
me how
is
I'm
that he's
interpreting
talking
it.
about. Well, I already did. We've been going.
Well,
over
no, because I already explained it. What you said prior was incorrect. It's not how I'm interpreting it. You were wrong on that.
Sage. No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, 6. But we cannot move forward if you don't understand my argument. The way that I interpret this, whenever he's talking about this,
understand what you
is
mean.
when using a technique, you mold chakra for it out of your stamina. You then put that chakra into the technique. If you're inefficient, some of that chakra gets burnt off. That's the interpretation.
Wait,
it has
hold
nothing
on,
to
hold
do
on,
with
hold on.
people using it else, like for other things.
Hold on. what I'm saying about that is that implies in and of itself that that chakra can only be used for ninjutsu and genjutsu
Why?
if you interpret it that way.
Why?
Because molding chakra for ninjutsu is just the same as molding chakra, right? So if
Yep.
you mold chakra, if you huh?
Yep. Yeah, totally agree. You're molding
Okay.
chakra for a particular reason.
So if you mold chakra and then don't put it into ninjutsu, then what happens?
Okay, if you mold chakra and you don't put it into a technique in general, because again, you're assuming the way that I'm
fuck.
interpreting this is
Answer my question,
okay.
nigga.
But hold on, but you're asking a dishonest question because that's not my
I'm not
position.
asking a dishonest question.
Okay, if you mold chakra and you don't use it for anything, and it's just sitting there,
No, not anything. Ninjutsu and genjutsu.
okay, you mold chakra for any kind of technique that requires chakra. So why are we just nailing down ninjutsu and genjutsu?
Wait, no. He doesn't say that.
That doesn't matter. We see it in the series, and he's not even implying that.
No, we don't. What are you talking about?
Okay, so
When do we see in the series that you
is
mold
chakra
chakra to
is
just
chakra sensory going to be ninjutsu or genjutsu?
Probably ninjutsu.
Why?
Are there not specific ninjutsu for sensory, like the barrier that's around?
The one that Tobirama does.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, okay, or walking on trees, is that ninjutsu?
No.
Okay, why?
What? There's no reason to call that a ninjutsu.
Then why would you call
would you call
chakra
it
sensory like
ninjutsu?
what Tobirama's doing a ninjutsu?
Chakra sensory, like because there's sensory jutsu and there's sensory shinobi, right?
So there's physical amplification jutsu. You're amplifying your physical ability to stick to shit.
What are you talking about?
Whenever
No,
you're
there
walking
isn't.
on
You just made
trees
that
and
up.
on water,
You just made that up.
okay, you are literally taking chakra and giving yourself a physical property you don't normally have by applying chakra to the bottom of your feet. Yeah?
And
Okay, so whenever Sakura punches somebody with chakra and releases it all at once, she's enhancing her physical stats, right? Like to some degree, at least effective physical stats by releasing
that's
all
a
of that chakra at
specific
once.
technique with the chakra.
Okay, totally agree. So the only thing that
we
you're
know that's
so hold on.
I don't know. I don't know
But
if that's a
six. Hold
ninjutsu or
on.
not.
The only it is a ninjutsu.
Wait, hold on. Do we know if that's a ninjutsu?
Yeah.
Is
There's
there
a
statement about that?
there's a file on it. Her like.
Okay, so we know that that's a ninjutsu.
Okay, but but practically and mechanistically, what's the difference
The difference between what?
between Sakura punching somebody and releasing a bunch of chakra at
No,
a
that's
particular
taijutsu.
point? Okay, fine, it's a taijutsu. So is walking on water a taijutsu?
I honest to God don't know. I
We
wouldn't say
don't-
so.
we
Isn't
don't know, right?
taijutsu-
So-
what is taijutsu? Hold up.
It's just physical
What is
combat. That's all it is.
No, what is it? Hold on. Let me see what it's defined as.
It's like hand-to-hand combat.
This is an attack technique that uses strength and physical resistance to deal damage directly to the opponent's body.
Mm-hmm.
This is called taijutsu. Basically, it needs no chakra at all, allowing for quick strikes in a sequence without breach for enemy counterattacks. Being a simple technique which anyone can learn, its power is directly proportional to the training performed.
Yep. So the whole point of me bringing this up, Six, is
So no, it's not a taijutsu.
okay, fine. So you said that shinobi can use techniques that are not ninjutsu or genjutsu. You said that earlier. And then what you're
Or
arguing
taijutsu.
or taijutsu, right? Totally agree. Because I don't think that walking on water qualifies for any of those, like in terms of like a technical sense. So
Right.
if that's true, but we know that you have to amass a certain amount of chakra, and the amount of chakra you amass has to be precise. Otherwise, you're either not going to stick or you're going to like blow a hole through the tree. But they have to mold chakra in order to perform it to a precise level. Then they have to continue like that flow of chakra in order to be able to continue doing what they're doing, right? So they're still molding chakra in order to perform a technique.
Wait, what? No, what? No.
Yes.
No, they don't. You just made that up.
I did not just make that up. Do we want to go to chapter 17?
Yeah, we can go to chapter 17. You just made that up.
I did not make
You
that
don't
up.
have to do
They mold chakra, they put it in the bottom of their feet. It's exactly what's going on here. Okay, it might be 18 whenever he's talking about this. Okay. There's actually, I have a data book scan for this too. This will be easier. might have this in my files. Oh, we'll just do it here. Effectiveness and mirror cover. Oh. Okay, here, I'm just going to share my screen on here real quick so you can see it. Oh, entire screen. There we go. Let me just go here. So I talk about climbing trees. This comes after Sakura's chakra explanation.
Why do you like the color manga?
I think it just looks better.
It just sucks.
Focus all of the energy of your chakra towards the soles of your feet and use the power. And by the way, right before this, he weaves a hand sign, which we know is to control the
control chakra.
Right. Yeah. So chakra's already molded. And then, so he molds chakra, he weaves hand signs, he walks up it, all the chakra.
No, I'm not agreeing with that. No, I'm not agreeing with that presupposition.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to 17 because that's exactly what Sakura says. So, in order to chakras, put simply energies, they require to perform ninjutsu and genjutsu. Okay, so
yep, ninjutsu and genjutsu.
They're all born of a combination of those two energies, so they're combined. That's the molding of chakra, brought forth from the body in the spirit, which is called manipulating the chakras, focused in the mystic art of weaving hand signs.
I don't disagree that you can make chakra. Okay. What I'm saying is, I don't think that you have to make chakra to do everything. I think that people just normally have it.
Okay, so she's specific. Okay, you're not addressing what I said then, because what I said is that chakra is molded, and that he literally weaves a hand sign in order to control the chakra. What are you talking about? Because you said he's weaving the hand sign.
Who cares? Who cares?
And also, you said that's specifically in regards to ninjutsu? Why is that not in regards to genjutsu or taijutsu that use chakra?
Ninjutsu or genjutsu, whatever. But to taijutsu to use his chakra. Sure, you obviously you might have to mold chakra for it.
Okay.
I don't really care about that.
So we're talking about the walking on trees.
I don't think that they don't. Hold up. No, I think you took from that something that you weren't supposed to take from that. No. I don't think that any of that means that in order to do like this right here, for example, that they have to mold chakra to do it. Like I said, I think that they just have chakra normally, and I guess we should probably be moving on from this soon.
Yeah, well, we will. But according to the charts that Ebisu puts up...
Hold on, nigga. I'm in the middle of fucking talking.
You're good.
But with the other scans that we have, like Hagoromo being born literally carrying chakra, and then Kushina being born with chakra as well, that these people just have an amount of chakra, and then they might have to mold more in order to use specific ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu. Okay?
That's not... Okay, so... You want me to engage with that? Because whenever it talks about being born with chakra, again, the Ebisu charts just showcase that they don't have chakra there. You agreed that it's a 1-to-1 stamina to chakra thing. Hold on. Yes, 6. Yes, you did. We can go back on the recording.
Disingenuous.
6. You agreed it's a 1-to-1 stamina to chakra conversion.
Hold up. I agreed that it's a 1-to-1 stamina to chakra conversion here. Yes, in the context that they are using it for ninjutsu and genjutsu.
Okay, but okay, this is why I brought up the walking on trees thing and walking on water, because they have to at least mold chakra in some capacity to use it, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Even under your interpretation, yes, because you think they passively mold it, right?
No, I think they just have it.
How do they just have it without it being molded? Because we're explicitly told that chakra doesn't exist until those two things get mixed together.
When are we told it doesn't exist?
Okay, you literally are specifically shown physical and mental energies, bottom of the first page, stamina, the mixing of mental and physical energies. Stop. Let me finish. Hold on, just let me finish. The mixing of mental and physical energies, in other words, the production of chakra. So chakra is not produced unless those things are mixed, whether passively or actively, correct?
Nope.
According to what? Because that's what this says. I have more explanatory power for my position than you do for yours. Go ahead.
No, you don't.
I do, because I'm just quoting it verbatim.
Why would you say you have more explanatory power when you're not explaining my position?
I don't have to explain your position, because you were saying your answer was literally nope. Hold on. Your answer was literally nope. So whenever I said this tells us. Number one, the chart shows him fully alive at full power, according to himself. Hold on, you gotta let me finish, bro. You keep doing this. So whenever it says, hold on. So whenever, just let me finish, brother. You like, why do you keep cutting me off?
You're going to want to hear this. Okay. When I said no, I did not listen to you.
Okay, that
I
makes
actually
sense.
don't know what you said.
Okay, perfect. So what I said is that whenever Ebisu says on here, we have the chart. We have 100% stamina. We've got nothing in the chakra bar. And what my claim was is that in some capacity, whether active or passive, the chakra has to be molded out of physical and mental energies in order to be chakra. It's not something that exists without being molded together. We know this because he says the mixing of physical and mental energies, in other words, the production of chakra. So chakra is produced this way. Therefore, if this process doesn't happen, chakra's not there, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, perfect. So you're under the interpretation that they just passively produce chakra, right? Okay, perfect. So whenever we look at these scans, and it shows in this particular thing, he's not actively putting together a jutsu in this first one. But we have 100% stamina and nothing in the chakra bar. You agree?
Wait, real quick, Sage.
Go ahead.
Check chat.
Yeah, I got you. Okay,
What,
perfect.
What
Yes.
do you make of what Jiraiya says there?
Okay, so let me just read it directly because I love this scan for what I'm saying. Because it's necessary to mix energies in order to manipulate chakra, we all unconsciously swirl around those energies inside ourselves. Some people happen to rotate them clockwise and some counterclockwise. In short duration, this exercise you visualize, blah, blah. He's talking about like going with the flow of his chakra, right? So in this, we actively see the energy of the body and the energy of the mind, mental energy, are disconnected and then joined in the middle and then swirled together, and then we have like chakra coming up, right?
Yes.
So
we understand it's chakra
Right.
and mental and physical energies.
so even in this, it's demonstrating that it's not just there until it's molded, correct? You're just saying that it's an
we're
unconscious
talking about-
molding.
we're
That's what
talking
you're
about-
saying.
Yeah, we're talking about whether it's passive or not.
Got you. Okay. So whenever he's talking
Or
about this in
unconscious,
context, because this is what, like 159, I believe? Okay, so whenever he's talking about this in context, he's
Oh,
talking
151.
151. Yeah, yeah. So he's talking about like to Naruto, right? It's in the same exact way that in 259, whenever he's talking about Genjutsu, and he says Genjutsu works in the opponent's five senses, but in 214, whenever Shikamaru says most Genjutsu work in the opponent's five senses, he's making a general statement here. This doesn't mean every single human being on planet Earth does this.
Wait, no. Wait, hold on. Most
Right.
the Genjutsu work on the five senses. We know that some of them don't. 'Cause
Right.
we
So it's
talked about it
a
earlier.
general statement, right?
Wait, hold on. But we talked about it earlier with the like the Kashin Koji shit. Like there's some things that are just illusions. They don't necessarily work on your mind.
Right.
Or whatever.
But Jiraiya says Genjutsu in a general sense. He says Genjutsu works in your opponent's five senses, right?
Yeah, but so what Jiraiya, the context he's talking in is he's talking about being able to break them, right?
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, so-
Totally agree. But I mean, obviously, he doesn't mention that you can break it with pain, though, right? Which we know that you can. He's just giving like a general overview of what Genjutsu is and how to deal with it. So again, in this particular instance, I think it's fine for him to be giving a general overview. But the bigger issue here is there's a different word being used here.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Fuck. You just like went so far ahead. I don't really know what the pain thing had to do anything.
Because
what I'm saying is here.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it really quick?
No, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that between Jiraiya and Shikamaru, yeah, it's true that most Genjutsu are going to work on your five senses, right? But it's fine for Jiraiya to be talking about the type of Genjutsu that we're talking about because we know that some Genjutsu literally don't rely on your five senses, like the ones that just specifically cast illusions. But it makes more sense for Jiraiya to be talking about that because he's about to teach Naruto how to break Genjutsu. He literally says before that,
Yeah,
listen,
I agree.
Naruto, there's a trick to breaking Genjutsu, blah, 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 blah.
But definitionally, it's a general statement, correct? Because he's not being hyper specific about the fact that there are other Genjutsu that don't operate on the five senses, right?
Yeah, but he's talking about breaking it. You don't.
Okay,
you don't break
totally fine, totally fine. Like, but the issue, but what I'm talking about in regard to that is he does make a general statement, right, about Genjutsu.
those. No, I think he's talking in the context of breaking them.
Okay, so you can break
When you
them.
say
You
general,
can
what do you
can break
mean?
them up. So he doesn't include everything because again, he doesn't say most Genjutsu
Yeah,
work on your opponent's
I think
five
he's
senses.
including the ones. He's including the ones that you can break.
You think the only ones you can break are ones that operate in your five senses?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, like I said, in the context of this entire conversation, that's just what he's talking about. The other Genjutsu, I mean, I guess you can classify it as breaking, but no one ever no one ever gets past one of those genjutsus and say that they broke it. It's
I mean,
normally they're saying like I saw through it or some shit like that.
well, we see that, like, for example, like Mifune is able to be broken out of Kodo, and Kodo is something that
We never
controls
see
more than
that.
just. Is,
We never see that.
is that not what happens? He gets hit
No.
with
See,
Kodo,
I
or,
brought-
or is it
I
or is it
brought
just
this up-
Danzo was going to use it on? Because I could have swore he used it on him, but I
No,
could be wrong.
no. So Donzo uses Kodo on him, and he's like actively using it to control him. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but I remember seeing a scene in the anime where two ninja, I can't remember whose Kageguards they were. They come up to Mifune, they put their hands on him and break him out of Kodo Masukami. Right. I brought it up in a video one time. Went to go look for it. Doesn't fucking exist.
Okay,
So-
so 453 maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah. So what I think happened was Donzo obviously just stopped using it.
Okay, I mean, I'm fine with that. But here's I still don't think that, like, that's the only, because he also describes how, like, how to break the Genjutsu. We know that's not the only way to break a Genjutsu like that. Like, for example, Shikamaru gets hit with a sound-based Genjutsu and he breaks it with pain. He doesn't break it by, like, stopping his chakra flow, right? So even that part of it is a general statement. He's just giving one prescription as to how to do that, right?
Wait, that's not general. But he wants to teach him to break genjutsu in this specific way.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's not including all of the details about how to break Genjutsu, correct?
how to break it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
unless Jiraiya doesn't know that you can pain yourself out of genjutsu.
I'm
which
sure he
is
probably
possible.
does, but I mean, this doesn't really matter.
Why?
The whole reason why I was pointing this out was because, like, this
Wait.
can also be a general statement, but we
Why?
can move on from that. So whatever it talks about, there are two different words he uses here. It says it's necessary to mix energies in order to manipulate chakra. We all unconsciously
Oh, wait,
swirl
hold on,
those
hold on.
energies around.
What scan are we going back to?
The one that you sent, the swirling the chakra around.
All right, bet. Continue
Yeah.
your explanation. I'm gonna go get water.
Yeah, you're good. So he says, because it's necessary to mix energies in order to manipulate chakra, we all unconsciously swirl those energies around within ourselves. He doesn't say we mix those energies unconsciously. Yeah, he doesn't say they mix them unconsciously. He says they swirl them unconsciously.
Nigga, okay, come on now. We're talking about that's fucking disingenuous. I mean, I'm sure everybody listening can look at the fucking screen, and TG and Shad, y'all can as well. The swirling happens whenever they're starting to go up and be chakra.
Okay, but if that were the case, that they're always producing chakra in their systems, then whenever we see somebody, hold on, if whenever we see somebody,
No, that was hold up, my bad. That was the water went down the wrong side.
you're good, bro.
Yeah,
Let me just share this in here. Whenever we see somebody who, like, we see their chakra network, for example, we would expect.
Oh, I know what you're gonna bring up.
Yeah, we would expect that they would always have chakra in their chakra network if they're always molding it,
So let me
as
show
opposed
you
to
something.
pushing chakra through here like this.
Yeah, let me show you something. So, I agree. Like he's pushing more chakra through, but here, whenever Naruto, hold up, damn, here. There's a time where I'll send the color manga for you as well. But there's a time where Naruto's using chakra and his chakra signature or his chakra thing isn't specifically lit up. Let me send another example too.
Well, hold on. What
Right
do you mean? What
here.
do you mean by using his chakra?
Neji literally says his chakra is like split between all those things. But here,
So?
you see right here, and he's using a ninjutsu, like we know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, this
Tintin's
okay.
talking
So
about emitting
let's go through
chakra
these
and
one at a
whatnot.
time. Let's go through one at a time. So the first thing, whenever you say
there's only two for everyone. For
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
There's only two. I just sent
that's
the
totally
colored
fine.
and non-colored.
yeah. So with the Naruto one, this doesn't mean, like it says, I see, since his chakra is equally and evenly distributed among all the doppelgangers, even my Byakugan won't be able to determine which of the bodies is the genuine article. This doesn't mean that, because again, if we're addressing chakra as like stamina colloquially, which I put a scan up
No,
above
I don't.
where. Well, hold on. This is my interpretation. So I put a scan up above where Kakashi says, because you brought up the scan in your stream that he says if you run out of chakra you die. But whenever he's about to die from using Kamui, he says if I run out of my stamina and chakra I die. Ebisu says if I run out of my stamina and chakra I die. So it's not just running out of chakra, which means you don't necessarily have to have chakra in your system at all times. But we can get to that in a second. Let's address this first. So if that's true,
Hold on.
well, just really quick, because I'm sure we're gonna get into that. If that's true, then this could just okay. Go ahead.
Actually, no, you just go ahead.
Right. So that's all gonna. This whole next thing is gonna be based on whether or not that's true, right? So if that's true, if Naruto, in order to generate these clones, right, he molds a particular amount of chakra for the jutsu. He then activates it. It splits up that chakra evenly. And these things are basically made of chakra. That doesn't mean that they always have like molded chakra running through their chakra networks. If what he's seeing is molded chakra as opposed to stamina, mental and physical energies, then this is what we would expect. If he's like if the chakra like glows, right? Like the complete form of chakra is something that he gets a visual indication of, but he doesn't get that with just physical and spiritual energies, then we would expect that it would be drawn like this. Same thing with the for the first thing.
I don't. Hold on. I don't agree that the scan you sent is like the determining factor. I agree that it's like a way to portray the chakras traveling all around, but I don't agree that because it's not like this, there's no chakra traveling.
What about this one?
That's an example of a time where it is.
His chakra is oozing out. What's going on? So before this, he didn't have chakra oozing out going through his system. This is after he got his Tenketsu points shut down. So
No. I'm not
Yeah?
agreeing with that. I'm not agreeing that he didn't have chakra. I'll agree that in this case he's getting more. Like in the what's that fucker's name? The spider? Kidomaru.
Kidomaru,
Like in the
yeah.
Kidomaru example, how whenever he's making a jutsu, he has to summon more chakra. I don't agree that because it's not glowing, there's no chakra.
Okay, so whenever he makes this statement, if we go to 103,
Which statement?
the one that I just sent, so he says impossible. His chakra is oozing out. What's going on? Which means before that the chakra was not oozing out. Right?
Yeah, he Naruto literally can't mold his chakra there. He's got his Tenketsu points pressed.
Right. So if no chakra is oozing out, no chakra is being produced.
No. Speaking context, Sage, he's talking about it oozing out into his chakra system.
Yeah, so there's no chakra in his chakra system prior to that.
That I can be fine with.
Okay, so you think that they produce chakra outside of their chakra system, that their chakra system like is not necessary or like intrinsically tied to the production of chakra.
What are you talking about?
You said it's fine for him to not have chakra in his chakra like network, but still have chakra.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so where would it be?
But he can't use it.
Okay, so he has chakra, but it's not in his chakra network. And we see that
His
here
chakra network has been shut down.
And let's go to I'm gonna share my screen. So we go to 103. This is actually a crazy statement. I love this. There we go. So go to 103. He says, crap, I'm talking big game, but I can't feel my chakra at all. It's just like the times I used up all of my chakra during training. Oh, you've got two different types of chakra.
Wait, hold up. We know with Naruto here, he didn't actually use up all of his chakra. Jiraiya specifically tells him to he's like, oh, you use most of it, and then they start training.
I mean, that doesn't mean that he hadn't used up. But here's the thing, right? So whenever he's talking about, I think that's fine. But he says, I can't feel my chakra at all. Right? So are you saying that even if he has a tiny amount of chakra, like he just wouldn't be able to sense it? Is that what you're saying? Like he wouldn't be able to feel a tiny amount of chakra inside of him?
Right, you can't use it.
Okay, so then he says, well, you can't use it. Like, we can get into that in a second. But
like his chakra system is literally shut down.
It's completely shut down. Right, totally agree. And we don't see any chakra flowing through.
64. However many chakra points.
And then he says, can't bear to lose. He's like, it's useless. I've pressed your Tenketsu. And then he has flashbacks and shit. because he's cool like that. Then he starts producing it. Impossible. His chakra is oozing out. What's going on? So we see prior to this, he has no like glowing anything in here. And then suddenly he's got stuff running through his system. So prior to this, he has no chakra in his chakra network. So do you not think that the chakra is molded and produced in the chakra network? You think it's produced elsewhere?
No, I think the chakra network is what carries it all throughout your body.
That can be fine, but that doesn't create a delineation between what I just said and what you're saying.
Yes, it does. If you look at yes, it does. If you look at what I sent about the swirling energies unconsciously, and I mean earlier in part 1, the production of chakra isn't even part of the chakra system there.
What do you mean?
Like you see, it's like, so here, they show the same chart every fucking time.
Yeah.
Here's the one from 151, and then in chapter, I want to say 16, 17? Which one did we go over earlier?
It's in 17.
17, okay. And then I'm sure they use this another time too. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Like that's not part of the chakra network.
How do we know that?
The chakra network is a series of lines that runs throughout your entire body. This isn't that.
Well, hold on. That just because it's drawn in a particular way doesn't mean it disqualifies it from happening in the chakra network. Like the same thing with the Ebisu thing. This isn't even a chart that's like attached to his body. Like this doesn't mean that this isn't
example.
Like for example, like with the Ebisu thing, this chart isn't shown to be a part of his body or in his body at all. So is it not a part of his body? Is this not a biological system that's happening? It's the same kind of argument. You're saying, well, we don't see this as a part of the chakra network, therefore it's not a part of the chakra network. We don't see the Ebisu one as a part of his body, therefore it's not a part of his body. That's a dumb argument.
No, it isn't. Are you fucking retarded? I'm saying that we know what the chakra network looks like.
Sure.
Neji can literally see it.
Awesome.
And this shit is not there.
That doesn't matter. We know that the chakra system, we know that chakra production happens in the body, but in the Ebisu example, it's not being shown to be happening in the body, so therefore it's not happening in the body, right? That's the same exact kind of argument.
No,
that's
you
dumb.
Fucking moron.
Are you retarded? You're saying because of the way
it happens in the body.
Right.
Stop.
Totally agree.
Stop. No, we don't agree. We know it happens in the body. So Ebisu's thing doesn't matter because we know it happens in the body.
Okay.
This shit, we don't ever see chakra being produced or made. The only examples we get of it being made are this chart here, which in the dry example that is in the body, is this chart here. So I'm saying this isn't tied to the chakra system because Neji can see it and this shit is not there. Kaguya can see it. We never see this outside of these examples.
Okay, so again, well, first of all, what you're doing is an argument from ignorance. But whenever you're saying, yes, it is. You're saying because we don't have evidence of this, it's not the case. That's exactly what you just said.
No, you fucking moron. Oh my God, that's not what I said. No, Sage, stop
go ahead.
Disingenuous.
Go ahead.
Stop being disingenuous. What I'm saying is we have a nigga who can see almost every part of the chakra system. And this is not in the chakra system.
How do we know that?
Not absence of evidence.
No. That first of all, you don't even know what that argument is entailing by the way that you just put that argument together does not work. So I'll break that down in a second. Yes, but you saying we see hold on, stop. You saying we see how he sees the chakra network and what production of chakra looks like there, or chakra flowing in there looks like there, and it doesn't look the same way this other chart does.
That's not what I just fucking said.
That is what you just said.
No,
you said we don't see it.
That's not what I fucking said.
Okay, then repeat what you said.
Lying.
Then
You're
repeat what you
lying,
said.
You didn't hear me.
Repeat what you said then.
I said we see that Neji can see the chakra network.
Yup.
And that shit is not there.
Prove that.
You want me to just show you it's not on the scans?
Okay, no. Okay, so you were saying because
Sage, hold up. What if I wait, stop.
6.
What if I just change my claim? What if I just say we just don't know if this is part of the chart?
That's fine. Okay, cool. So that's a fine claim to make.
That works better for you? Okay,
yes,
cool.
100%. Because you saying it's not there, like you're literally just appealing to the way the charts are drawn. Like that's fine. Okay.
Like I said, I'm willing to do this.
Perfect.
So stop responding to that argument.
Okay, so what you're saying now is like we don't know that the production of chakra is a part of the chakra network, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine for you?
Cool. That is a perfectly fine take. I was just like, okay. Anyway, so whenever we look at like the production of chakra here,
Oh, we need to wrap this up in like. I think we will be, but like 20.
okay, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. So whenever he's talking about unconsciously swirling those energies around, he delineates between mixing the energies and swirling them. I think from your position, you're going to have to justify that those two things are the same process. If they're not the same process,
Bro, Sage, hold up. No.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And we can go earlier to that like random possibility thing that I kept bringing up, the infinite regress. I'm not doing what you just said. That is fucking ridiculous.
okay, well, that's fine. You don't have to. But if you can't substantiate that these two things he's talking about where he uses two different words of the same process, then this doesn't like prove what you're saying. But we can steel man it and we can move on from that.
I already told you earlier.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
not responding.
We can move
That's
on from that
fucking
then.
ridiculous.
So if we move on from that, right, and we backtrack to the point that we were at and just assume that, whatever, it goes through either side. Then from this position, whenever we're talking about like whether or not, because we're talking about mechanistically, God, we got way off the rails. Why the infinite Tsukiyomi, would work versus like other Genjutsu wouldn't work, right? Is that where you want to go from?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Perfect.
I would
Yeah.
I would like to finish up this argument here because basically all that was happening was it stated that these people are born with chakra, carrying
Right.
chakra, whatever. I think that the Ebisu thing is showing the production of chakra specifically for ninjutsu because that's literally just. I mean, you agree that's the way the chart flows, right?
Well, I think it's talking about techniques in general, but yeah, he uses ninjutsu as an example. Yeah.
Well, no, but so taijutsu is on the other side with stamina, and then when you look at the other side of the chart, ninjutsu is right there tied to chakra. Chakra doesn't connect to taijutsu at all.
Well,
so like
no.
if you,
That-
wait, stop.
Go ahead.
Via reading the chart, there would be no way to say that chakra connects to taijutsu.
Hold on. That's not true though, because he specifically says in the second page with Lee on there says taijutsu do not require signs at all, nor with a few exceptions do they require chakra. So we know.
I know that.
Right.
Sage, fuck. Sage. Shut. Sage. Fuck.
Okay.
Fuck. Listen,
Six.
Listen, please.
Okay,
No, I want to
go
kill
ahead.
myself. I want to kill myself.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying that Ebisu is saying that. What I'm saying is if you go by the fucking chart alone, chakra does not connect to taijutsu.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I can agree with that. If you completely discount everything he says relevant to the chart, yes, sure. But I think everything that they say in regard to framing the chart matters. Would you agree?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it again.
So yes, if you remove everything he says about the chart, there's no way to justify that the chakra and taijutsu would be put together until you get later data book statements, right? But I think it's reasonable to take the chart and his statements all in context together in order to understand the charts, right?
It doesn't even matter about his statements. The statements, so even via the statements, you would agree then that the chart isn't an accurate representation of what's going on because there's no way to connect chakra and taijutsu.
No, yes, there is, because he specifically says
there
with a few exceptions.
I know he says that.
Okay,
Nigga,
so
stop
hold
fucking
on.
telling me he
So
says that.
six. So if
No,
he said,
no,
six,
no,
please
no,
stop.
hold
You
on,
can't keep
no,
cutting me
no,
off,
no,
dude. Stop
no,
cutting me
fuck
off.
you, no,
I was in the
no,
middle of
no,
speaking.
no,
Six, stop,
no,
stop.
no,
Bro, you're
no.
acting like a child. Just let me
Stop
finish what I'm
telling me
saying.
the same shit over and over
I'm not
again.
going to
No.
repeat the same
Stop
thing.
telling
I'm
me the
going to
same
make
shit.
a point. I'm going to make a point.
Okay,
If he
make the
stop
point.
if he
Stop
includes
telling
I'm just
me
going to
why
keep
you're
going.
making the point.
If he includes taijutsu as something that requires chakra in some circumstances and then demonstrates how molding chakra and then putting it into a fucking technique works, which by the way never shows a genjutsu on there fucking either, right? If he's just talking about how you mold chakra to put it into a technique, if you're efficient, none of it gets burned off. If you're not efficient, some of it gets burnt off, and he only uses fucking shadow clones, then through your interpretation, the only
use
thing this
shadow
chart
clones.
could be communicating is that he's talking
No,
about shadow
no,
clones.
Not shadow clones. Those are clones.
Okay, regular clones. I don't fucking care. But your interpretation. Hold on,
you need to make
just
that
stop.
clear.
Sure, but your interpretation is, but based on what you're saying, the only interpretation you can get is this only applies to clones, despite the fact that he
No,
goes
I'm not,
over
dumbass.
taijutsu,
Listen,
ninjutsu,
hold
and
up, wait,
genjutsu.
Listen. Okay, now it's time to track, moron.
Oh my God,
I'm
6.
saying that
You're getting
the
cooked
chart,
right now,
you
bro.
can
I'll cook
include
bubbles
other-
too. Let's go.
You can include other ninjutsu and genjutsu, right?
Sure.
Because on that fucking chart it says ninjutsu genjutsu.
Uh-huh.
So no, it does not mean only fucking clones. What I'm saying is, via that chart and what Ebisu is saying, you must agree that that chart is inaccurate because
No.
he says some taijutsu can use chakra, but that chakra chart does not connect to the taijutsu part.
Why does
So
that make
either
it
Ebisu
inaccurate?
is a fucking liar. Hold up. It makes it inaccurate because the chart does not demonstrate a way to put chakra into taijutsu.
That doesn't matter because yes, it does. Just because it's not on the chart doesn't mean the same principle doesn't apply. Whenever he's talking about first, he specifically says these show in easy terms the flow of physical and mental energies collectively called stamina, which move within the body whenever a ninja uses ninjutsu, taijutsu, or genjutsu. Fucking read it. He says ninja. Stop. Let me finish, dude. You gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish.
No,
Bro,
fuck
oh my
you,
God.
fuck you, fuck you.
6.
No,
You have to
fuck
let me
you.
finish. Why do you keep cutting me
That
off?
says
You keep cutting me off because you're getting slammed.
stamina,
Stop
which
stop
moves
cutting
within
me
the body
off.
relative to ninjutsu, taijutsu, or genjutsu.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Yeah, I agree. That
in a
show
general
stamina to ninjutsu, taijutsu,
Okay,
or genjutsu.
listen.
It does not show chakra to taijutsu.
Because
doesn't show
he
that.
specifically specifies that most taijutsu won't require chakra at all. So on the charts, he only uses ninjutsu and genjutsu for chakra because he already specified that
so
in
the
most
chart is
6.
inaccurate.
6. No, it's not. Because he already specified
is.
that there are some circumstances in which it will require chakra. And the breakdown of this is we're talking about the flow of mental and physical energies called stamina,
Sage,
which move
stop
within the body
fucking
when they
telling
use
me
those.
that.
And then he shows you how that functions and how the stamina gets mixed, goes into chakra, then is used for a technique. Just because taijutsu isn't under
say anything
ninjutsu or
about
genjutsu
taijutsu.
doesn't mean it's not being accounted for. It's just more rare. That's all it is.
Wait. Hold up. So even if it's not being accounted for, this chart is still inaccurate.
I
Because
just
it's not
said
over there.
it doesn't mean it's not being accounted for.
No. Hold up. If you think it is being accounted for, that's fine. I don't agree. Bullshit. If you think it is being accounted for, that's fine. That means the chart is still inaccurate because it's not over there.
No. What it means is he's giving a general
does.
overview of how this works.
But we can move on from this.
Okay, we can definitely move on from it. So I think I'll let you conclude on this point. I think on my end, I think I established
concluding
that
on
based
this
on the chart, based on Ebisu's explanation, based on the fact that Kakashi says he has to run out of chakra and stamina and he's going to die, based on the fact that Ebisu
Wait,
says
no,
the
that's
same
not- we're
thing.
not concluding on the whole point.
That's
No,
fine.
not the
So
whole point.
based on all this
We're not
stuff,
talking about that.
it's more reasonable to assume that you don't have chakra in your body until it's molded. We know, and you know what? I just want to bring one more point up on this. Are you aware of the fact that Naruto says that whenever he falls asleep, his chakra arm that's connecting to Kawaki is going to stop working because he has to need chakra 24/7 in order for that to work? And when he goes to sleep, that's not happening.
Does that have to do anything?
So if he's not needing chakra, if chakra is not being molded at all, then that means that it's not being molded passively, right?
No.
Yep.
No. He doesn't say that. He says that keeping that arm up is like maintaining a shadow clone.
Yep.
Those are two different things. Needing chakra passively, like I've been mentioning, and maintaining a shadow clone are two different things. Fuck no.
Wait, hold on.
No,
Boruto
no,
specifically says needing chakra 24/7. Do you not know the scan? Should I post it?
Yes, he's needing. Yeah. Oh, wait, Sage. I'm not disagreeing with that. Yes, he's needing chakra 24/7. I think that's what you need to do
Right.
to maintain a shadow clone.
Okay.
That is distinctly different from the chakra being needed passively, which is what I'm saying happens to Shinobi.
Wait, what? Okay, demonstrate why that is different from what you're talking about. Or even
Why
first of all, hold on. No, let me reframe that. Let me reframe that. Demonstrate, because what you just said is him needing chakra in order to support, the maintenance of a shadow clone is different from what you were talking about, right? We have precedent in the series for this. So for active molding of chakra in order for techniques to be used in any sense. You have no precedent in the series for what you're saying. So demonstrate the precedent that chakra even can be passively molded.
I already did. With
You didn't. The swirling thing, you didn't defend that. You said, Sage, I'm actually not going to defend the idea that mixing and swirling mean the same thing here. We're going to move on. So you actually conceded that point by saying that. But we decided to steel man it. We can steel man it and move on.
Stop. Even if we did decide to steel man it, that would mean that what you're doing here is idiotic anyway, because that would mean you're going against the steel man. But what I'm saying is, I think that I established it already. I disagreed with the ridiculous burden that you put on me in order for you to accept that it was established, which I don't give a fuck about. I think you're retarded.
Okay, so for you to say, hey Sage, I have this scan that says where Jiraiya says we have to mix energies together in order to create chakra. So unconsciously we swirl these around, mix, swirl, and I'm like, why are those the same thing? Say that's a dumb question. I'm not going to defend that. That's you conceding the point. But we can steel man it and we can move
No, it
on.
isn't.
I'm fine. Okay, so you don't defend the point that you made.
You like to do this thing where you'll completely recap, give a subjective interpretation of whatever fucking events just happened, and then be like, oh, well, we can still man it. No, bitch. In your instances anyway, we've already still manned it. Why are you telling me
No,
we
that's
can
fine.
still man it again?
Because you
I don't
just
care. Okay,
because Six,
but
you
stop-
just said that you
okay,
defended
what
it
I'm
when
saying,
you didn't.
What I'm saying is, because we don't have much time left.
Okay.
Stop doing the recap shit.
That's
No one
fine. I
wants
can
to
stop
hear
doing
it.
that. I can stop
Give
doing
your
that.
point.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now when it comes to
Go ahead.
the chakras swirling and mixing unconsciously or whatever, like I said, I think my interpretation of that scan, because you might not remember, is backed up by the fact that Kushina was born with chakra, Aroma was born with chakra. You said chakra is being referred to colloquially as stamina here.
Yep.
Because of Ebisu scan, right? Where Ebisu does not do that.
It's not
He
the only- no,
refers to
that's not the only
stamina. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not his only reason. There was another Kakashi scan.
Yeah.
He refers to stamina as stamina and chakra as chakra. And then the Kakashi scan, right?
Yeah. So where Kakashi
Okay,
in
and-
one
and-
instance
and
says
the
if you run out of
Kakashi
chakra you
scan
die,
is-
and
I'm
the
not
other one he
done-
says
I'm not
chakra
done
and
talking.
stamina.
Yeah, I'm not done talking. But in the other Kakashi scan he's talking about, Kakashi again separates chakra and stamina.
He doesn't the
I'm
first time. That's the
confused
point.
as to what first time?
Whenever he's talking to Sasuke and he says if you run out of chakra you die, but then whenever he's about to
doesn't
die
say
from
that.
you, yes he does. Six. Why are you lying, bro? You brought this up on your stream.
No. Bubbles brought it up and I didn't correct him.
Okay, like he literally says that either the jutsu won't work, or there's a chance the jutsu won't work, and if you're not careful, you will run out of chakra and die. That's what he says.
Can you send it?
Yes, absolutely.
Fuck.
I got you. If we're not aware of these scans, that's okay.
I'm not aware of the way that you're specifically referring to it.
That's exactly
but
what
like
it
I said, I
says,
think you're
bro.
retarded.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so here are the two panels. One happens at the end of one page, and then one is at the beginning of the next page. I don't know the exact chapter. But he says, if you try to forcibly initiate the jutsu, not only will the jutsu not work, but your chakra will be drained to zero, and if you're not careful, you'll die.
And
Okay, so he says this, but then if you scroll back up to the one I posted earlier, where he specifically, or I'll just fucking reply to this.
wait, hold on. I can scroll back up. But
Okay, it's where he says, with my
what
chakra
does
so
him-
depleted, I won't be able to get his whole body, and if I use it again, I'll expend the last bit of my stamina and run completely out of chakra. There's no doubt if I do this, that follows up with I'll die. So he specifically in one instance just says chakra, and the other instance he says chakra and stamina. Those two things can't be true unless he's referring to the same thing.
No, are you like? Oh my god, like this is moronic. What is contradictory about the fact that if you run out of chakra you die, and if you run out of stamina and chakra you die?
Because if you just run out of chakra, according to the Ebisu chart, you're still alive.
No. Okay.
Yep.
So for one, that's circular. But
No, it's not.
yes, it is. I'll tell you in a second. Don't even worry about it till I start to address it.
Okay.
In this Kakashi scan, do you think if you run out of stamina you die?
Yeah, I think if you fully run out of stamina and chakra, you die. So, like for example, if you use, if you have 10% stamina left and you mold it into 10%.
I don't need
Hold
an
on,
example.
just real quick, just for
No,
those listening.
no,
Six, you got to
no,
stop
no,
interrupting me, bro.
fuck.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this?
don't. I need
Okay.
a simple answer.
That's fine. It is a simple answer. You're making it longer. You're making the answer longer. You are making it worse. Okay, if you have, I'm just gonna finish what I'm saying. If you have 10% chakra and you mold it, or 10% stamina, you mold it into 10% chakra. I don't think you die until that chakra is expended, because then both your chakra and stamina are gone. Very simple. All right, go ahead.
Okay. No. What was your answer? Simplified?
I'm just gonna say the same thing again.
I'm gonna do the la la.
It literally is gonna take like 5 seconds, bro.
You don't need to give the fucking example.
I want to give the
Just tell me
example
the
because
answer.
you asking a question
Okay,
like that
cool,
where it's
cool.
not
You want to give the
clarified.
example.
If
I
you-
don't want to hear it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
You can plug your ears.
If that's how it is, wait, say if that's how it is. If that's how it is, I'll just assume your answer.
Okay,
If
that's fine.
not actually your answer, then whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it could be the case that if you run out of stamina and chakra, you die, and also be the case that if you run out of chakra, you die. Using the Ebisu chart as proof that you can have 0 chakra and be alive doesn't say anything because it's circular, saying that these people already have 0 chakra in the first place according to this chart. When I'm pointing out that I think that the chakra is passively or unconsciously, whatever you want to call it, passively or unconsciously maintained, and then they make more chakra specifically for their ninjutsu and genjutsu, and then, well, like I pointed out, this was way earlier. I don't know if you remember, in the bottom left of the scan where he's talking about Naruto's chakra. Whenever Naruto has 0 chakra, like whenever he's actually trying to display that, and we know it's trying to display that, it says 0% on the chakra bar.
Okay, that's fine because because what he says there, it's captioning what he's saying, right? So the chart is being communicated relative to what he's saying. So in that particular panel, he's saying if your chakra and stamina both hit 0, you die, right? So in the previous panel where it's just showing a full state of stamina, it doesn't have to showcase the 0% chakra.
Wait, hold on, Sage. I wasn't here. Say it again.
Okay, go ahead. So whenever it has that in the bottom, right? It's because he's literally talking about that. He literally says that whenever you run out of stamina and chakra, they both drain to 0, you die. So it's relevant for them to put the 0% on there. In the first part of it, whenever it's just showcasing how stamina is then converted into chakra, and you agreed earlier, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. If they take 30% of their stamina, it becomes 30% of their chakra. We see that. We see that whenever he takes 30% of his, just please let me land. Whenever
I'm sorry.
Whenever he takes 30% of his stamina, right, and he's got 70% stamina, it then says 30% chakra, which means it's 1-to-1. So if that's the case, then when he has 100% stamina, he should have 0% chakra. Like that, I don't think that has to be spelled out entirely like perfectly for us. Just in much the same way where like when we're talking about the chart earlier, how when he says I'm almost done. Say it, 6. You gotta let me finish. I'm almost done.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
no.
well I'm just gonna keep
bullshit,
going.
I'm gonna cut you off
I am not
every time.
repeating anything. I'm tying this together to something.
Mute you. Type in the chat when you're done.
6. I'm going to okay, for anybody listening, because 6 wants to be a child. I'll go ahead and tie this together. So whenever what I was saying is just like in this thing, it doesn't have to be spelled out exactly word for word because it's based on the context. Then whenever we talk about, I'm just gonna mute him on my video. Okay, so 6 is still talking, but I have him muted. So whenever we talk about how the stamina itself, right, is at 100%, it's 1-to-1, which he agreed to. We should see 30% in the chakra bar whenever he converts 30% of his stamina. Much like in the same way that we know Ebisu is fully aware that taijutsu can use chakra, but he doesn't put taijutsu on the chart where it's using chakra. It doesn't have to be something that's entirely detailed. So if that's the case, then his rebuttal doesn't work. Okay, are you back?
Yeah, I mean, you guys got like 2 minutes left, so I don't know if you guys like want to wrap it up or like it's up to you guys because I think you're pretty much at like a breaking point if you're muting each other and just going at it like that. But yeah.
Well, I wanted to add one final thing on the chakra thing. Sasuke and Itachi both say Sasuke has no chakra left, and yet he's still alive. They don't say you're almost out of chakra. They don't say that you're low on chakra. They say you have no chakra. So that would demonstrate, unless you think they're lying.
But we know that he uses chakra to guide Kirin.
How do we know that?
The shape transformation. How do we know that you use chakra to shape transform ninjutsu?
Yep.
Chakra is how you utilize ninjutsu.
Okay, so chakra could be how you create and utilize ninjutsu normally, but if he's completely out of chakra, hold on, let me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I wasn't done.
Oh, you're good.
Sasuke literally forms a Chidori in his hand before he guides it down.
Mm-hmm. That's the last bit of his chakra he could mold. Yeah, that's the last bit of chakra.
Okay, so wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Okay, so whenever Sasuke utilizes this technique, right? So
Oh my
he has
God,
he has the
this is
curse
gonna
mark.
be a long
Do
explanation.
you want me to explain it or no? Do you want me to
Not
use a
really.
different example?
No,
I can use a different example. I can go to Datara. Datara is stated to be out of chakra as well by Sasuke.
I don't want to go
Does
to a
that work
different
better?
example. 'Cause I don't want to make it to seem like you're dropping this example.
No, I can drop it. It's fine. It doesn't matter. So because I mean, I think that you can explain that through physical and mental energies without necessarily like it being chakra itself. But I don't have to get into that with you. We can just talk about the. This should be what chapter does he fight Data in? It's like 360 somewhere in there. Am I tripping?
Yeah,
Okay,
somewhere around that area.
yeah. So whenever he stabs him, he says he's out of chakra.
Are you talking about when he says your reaction speed is slow?
Yeah, yeah.
He says you're low on chakra, not
No,
out
he
of it.
says you've used up all your chakra. Your reaction time is so slow.
Oh, let me see. Let me see.
I can put it on. Oh yeah, it's on there. I'm streaming it. You can see it.
Oh, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another example. I mean, in right after this, he continues to use chakra. I don't think he actually means he's out of it.
Wait, how so? Like after, so here.
Yeah,
that
after
comes up
this,
from
he
the
keeps
ground,
using chakra. He uses
grabs
seed.
him.
What's the wind bomb? The big data?
So whenever he uses the C0 or whatever or C4.
No. Well, is that C4? The
Well, so
one where
he
it's
would
the
be.
big data that turns into little data.
Yeah, so
or not little.
this is what's important though, right? Because he's obviously talking to a clay clone.
Okay.
Right. So the clay clone has no chakra, like in the sense completely out of chakra, and yet it's still functioning just fine.
Well, no, the clay clone has to have chakra.
Why?
It's a ninjutsu.
It can
We know
be
that you
it
have
can
to
be
have
it
chakra
can
for
be
ninjutsu.
made of that, but not have any like in its system like produced. It can just be like physical and spiritual energies. It's an exact replica.
Spiritual and physical energies. Wait, what?
Right.
If those aren't mixed, then they aren't chakra.
Okay, so they're created with chakra, but do you disagree that clones can like mold chakra?
That should be fine. I
Right.
can't-
Yes. So
I
they
think
mold
in the
chakra.
War Naruto does that.
Yeah, exactly. So clones can mold chakra. The way that they mold chakra is obviously by mixing mental and physical energy. So they have stamina, mental and physical energies in the clones that then get molded into jutsu, right? They molded into chakra for jutsu. So whenever he's talking to this clone, it's out of chakra. There's no chakra, but it's still alive. It hasn't popped, right? Can still communicate, can still stand, all that shit.
The clone being alive is dependent on the user. Like you said earlier, like we know that
Yeah, you have to
the
maintain
clone.
them. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
For sure. But if it were
But
the
the clone
case,
having wait, hold on. Actually,
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
being a clone is whatever. Because if that is the case, then that would be why it didn't die. If we know that clones can have zero chakra and stay alive, because
clones are stated to be exact replicas of the user, but shadow clones are.
And
Okay, so if they're exact replicas, then the same principle should apply to the user.
no.
Okay, well then they're not exact replicas then.
A replica, an exact replica, meaning what do you mean by exact replica?
Like physiologically, we see that they have like chakra networks and all that stuff, right?
I don't think we ever see clones have chakra networks.
We
but
literally see it in the scan that you sent earlier.
Oh yeah.
The
No,
Naruto
you're
scan.
right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So at least in that aspect, they would be the same. So it would either be like we'd have to establish like a different. I'm fine with moving on with this because I think that we have established a lot, but because there's a couple things I want to get to.
What
Go
I'm
ahead,
saying,
go ahead.
what I'm saying here is, if we know that the clone can be out of chakra and still be maintained by the user,
Mm-hmm.
then that just from my position would just debunk the point that clones need chakra the same way people need chakra.
Well, that presupposes that people need chakra molded in their system at all times. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think that the other examples where it says, if you run out of chakra, you die, that just proves it.
That's presupposing what they mean. Okay, so for example, assume my interpretation is correct, right? Just for a second. My interpretation is
Why the fuck would I do that?
Just so that you can see why your interpretation is not like mutually exclusive here with the information we have in regard to mine. So if my interpretation, just really
before
quick.
you get started.
Yeah,
Wait,
go
before you get started. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm trying to stop.
You're good. You're good.
I'm lying. I'm not trying to stop. I just don't want to do it right now. Before you get started, are you going to talk about how they're not mutually exclusive, or how yours is more probable?
I can get into that secondarily, but because what you said is because like what we know about people like dying when they run out of chakra, that's what leads you to believe that these clones like would just be exceptions. So, but that only works if that's true. So the whole reason why, or at least most reasonable.
Clones? Sorry, clones can't be exact one-to-one replicas though, because Madara can tell the difference between them.
In terms of physiologically, that's sort of what's like demonstrated to us. Like in terms of like their physical appearance and capabilities and such, they're one to one. Now, obviously, they have different levels of chakra. Obviously, well, they can use all the same jutsu.
Well, not chakra, because the Sharingan can see chakra, but Madara is the only one who could differentiate clones.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's okay. Like it depends on what we mean by chakra as well, which is what I'm about to get into. So, under my interpretation.
Dude.
Whenever,
hold on, wait 1 second.
So you gotta let me get into this, bro. We keep going on bunny trails.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay, bro.
But I feel like we haven't gotten into this point.
Yeah.
Which is when is a time that think of the best example where chakra is referred to as physical and mental energies.
Okay, so let me get into that really quick.
Or as something other than chakra.
I got you. Okay, so.
Or stamina specifically.
Totally fine. So I'm gonna get into that in just a second. I'm just gonna demonstrate what we were just talking about, so I can close this part out. Because what you said was because
we're not gonna be able to close this part.
That's what I'm saying. I promise you. Well, just we can go through that in a second. I just don't want to leave it unaddressed because what you said was
it's not gonna be unaddressed. I'm saying we're gonna come back.
Please just let me finish it. Please, we can move on after I say what I say. If you want to add something, you can add something. I don't care.
No, Sage, because you're gonna say what you're gonna say, and then I'm gonna want to respond.
That's okay. You're allowed to, and then we can get into that. But we're going one point at a time. I don't want to move on to something else, and we're not done with this. So
okay, stop. You're about to start this point. That's what I'm saying. I've already brought this up.
No,
let's just address this.
Okay,
and then...
well, hold on. This is a separate point from that because all I was saying is. Even under your interpretation, what you said is you believe that clones would be the exception, or they would be different from humans in this way because of the statements we have about if you run out of chakra, you die, right?
And that Madara can tell the difference between clones.
Totally fine.
At a glance.
So, whenever we look at the statements about that, we have Ebisu saying if you run out of chakra and stamina, you die. We have Kakashi saying, if you run out of chakra, you die. And then we have Kakashi saying, if you run out of chakra and stamina, you die. So under my interpretation, or under your interpretation, for example, it would lead to that conclusion if your interpretation were true. But your interpretation has to be true in order for that exception to exist, because under my interpretation, where chakra can be referring to energies like stamina colloquially, that doesn't necessarily follow. So that was my point, is that you saying that presupposes the truth of it. So now we do need to get into that, but I just wanted to clarify that before we move on to it. You get what I'm saying?
It's not presupposing. Yeah, it's not presupposing the truth. It's just making the argument consistent.
Okay, but if your argument is not true, then that's not entailed. That's the point.
That's the case with every fucking argument.
100%. So, but you were using that.
So why are you saying
but
it?
Because you were using that to defend a different position. That's what I'm saying. In order for that other position to go through, this one has to also be true. That was the point. So we can get into that now. But you were using something that was unsubstantiated in order to substantiate something else. That was the point. So whenever you ask me the question about the mental and physical energies, I think there are a few examples. I think I'm just going to go through two of them. I think the fact that Kakashi uses stamina and chakra dropping to 0, you die. And then he also uses chakra drop to 0, you die. I think what that should mean is if your chakra drops to 0 on its own, but you still have stamina, you don't necessarily die. So if he's using both of those, and that's what we see in the Ebisu chart. Well, because...
Wait.
Because if he says your stamina and chakra have to drop to 0, you die. That means both of them do. But if your chakra and stamina are two separate things, then it doesn't necessarily mean that if you just run out of chakra, you die, even if you have stamina, correct?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I agree.
Right.
That first thing doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean it can't be true outside of that.
Okay, so then under your interpretation, then even if you have, so for example, if people like somebody stopped passively molding chakra for whatever reason, and they molded 10% of their stamina into chakra, and then they use that 10% chakra, and they still have 90% stamina, they die under your interpretation, even though they have 90%
I
stamina.
don't hold on. In that interpretation, I don't think that they would be alive in the first place to mold the 10% chakra because they don't have the initial chakra.
Even if they have 100% stamina, if their chakra is at zero,
Right.
they're dead, according to
Well,
you.
they would be dead, so there would be no 100% stamina. There would be no spiritual or physical injuries.
Okay, in a circumstance where somebody can stop passively charging chakra, or so let's just say under your interpretation, they're passively molding chakra, right? At some point, they decide, I'm going to mold 10% of my stamina into chakra. And then I'm going to use
As
every,
long as they
just really quick, I'm going to
Oh
use
yeah,
every,
my bad.
no, yeah, you're good. I'm going to use every ounce of chakra that I have. It's going to get me down to 0% chakra, but I still have 90% stamina. Under your interpretation, they die, right?
If so someone who doesn't have the access to actively molding chakra, if it's the case that for whatever reason they're losing that ability, that that they had no chakra to begin with, then I think they would just die. They would already be dead.
Why?
Sage, do I really have to explain? that
Because
to you?
because they
Like
say if you run out of
why
chakra,
people
you
work that
die.
way?
But you have one statement that says that, and I have two statements that say if you run out of chakra and stamina, you die.
Wait, okay. Should I get more?
Sure. While you do that, that was the first example of where I think it's being used colloquially.
No.
Well, I can go through this while you're grabbing that. Because
No,
I'm
you
just
can't. I
I'm
don't
just
want you
addressing.
to.
Hold on, I'm just
I don't
addressing.
wanna-
I'm just
I don't wanna-
addressing the argument that we're still on.
Okay, yeah. But Sage, if I'm looking for a scan, I don't want you talking in my ear about other scans.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna go to the KCM thing. Is that what you want to go into?
Yeah, that's fine.
Bet.
Well, I don't KCM specifically. I don't really care. It's B says right there. If you run out of chakra, you're off to the afterlife.
Yeah.
There's some other examples too. I cannot fucking think of them right now.
Well, so
I'm
what
sure
this?
you can. You just don't want to.
I mean, genuinely, I can't. Well, I know there's one in the war, I think, where somebody says like it's gonna drain all of our chakra, it's gonna kill us or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
There's
that one
actually
too,
there's
yeah.
actually one in the Boruto manga where it talks about draining their energy, which like is totally different about the God tree. It says it works by draining all of the energy. So there's a bunch of different terms used, and then like particularly in Boruto, we know that chakra can be used to refer to like things like centrifugal forces, which is fucking weird, but we know that it can. So with Boruto, it gets weird.
Yeah, Boruto stupid ass does that.
Yeah. Let me find this one God tree thing.
No,
But-
you don't have to. You don't have to find that.
You know what I'm talking about though? Like where it says that it drains like all the energy, like Amado's saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's
But
weird.
does he say actually?
So
maybe
in
we
one
should-
of them he says energy, and the other one he says chakra.
let's see.
Yeah. Here, I got you. So here's this one. So he says, do you remember what I told you about how the chakra fruit forms from absorbing all of the life on a planet and is a mass of colossal energy and genetic information? So it's like,
Yeah, this doesn't say it absorbs the energy.
well, that's the only thing that is the energy and information are the
Well,
only
cha-
things that are listed there. So that's kind of my point there. But we
Chakra
know like,
is energy though.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
like there are
I'm
other
saying
kinds
this
of-
doesn't say that it absorbs energy.
Well, it says it's taking energy in some sense, but because that's what it's doing.
No,
right?
but if chakra is energy, then the two scans don't conflict. Like
No,
it
I'm
takes
not. I'm
chakra,
not saying that they
which is
do.
energy.
I'm not saying that they do conflict. I'm just saying that there are different terms that are used in order to describe what's going on. And then, like we also know, at least within the scope of Boruto, that whenever we're talking about like even planetary chakra, for example, like chakra all over the planet, that it's specifically like used in reference to things that we know are not chakra, like centrifugal forces. So I think that could establish a precedent that whenever they talk about draining all the chakra on the planet from all living things, it may not even be in regard to regular chakra, since we know that the other statements are not in regard to regular chakra.
Well, no, centrifugal forces. Centrifugal forces are 100% not chakra, but that
Right.
doesn't mean that he's talking about the planet's chakra in a way. Like in this Amato scan, he's saying it drains it from all living things, right? And we know that there are living things with chakra. At least,
Right.
come on, we got
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, obviously.
there are living things with chakra. And then they specify, it's in one of these other scans that it basically just kills everything on the planet.
Yeah. It drains, and it says it drains the chakra out of all living things, which would lead you to like at a face value. Like, I got you, bro. It's
I'm pretty sure it's in.
Oh, I've got it in this
Chapter
like
40.
file. I put all these in because I knew these were all going to come up, so I was like, I'm just gonna grab them. Oh no, this is the Naruto. Oh, here we go. Yeah. This is what you're talking about, right? That sucks the chakra from all living things on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my whole perspective on this is, and I think, are we steel manning the different energies, like the stamina and chakra stuff, or no?
No, I still don't think that.
Okay, gotcha.
If it's necessary for your like, go ahead.
Well, so just to explain, like my interpretation of this is whenever they say chakra, because I think whenever Kakashi uses chakra in one instance and then stamina and chakra in another, same thing with Ebisu, and then we get other statements about like your chakra draining to 0, you die. The other one that you addressed on stream was the Orochimaru one, where he specifically talks about how Yoroi drains Sasuke's chakra, and he's specifically tapping into the stamina, the physical and mental energies. So I think that it's pretty like obvious to me that they're referring to like chakra as an energy in a colloquial way, where it's being used to refer to things that are not like molded chakra. So if that's the case, then the same thing could be here. It could just be in regard to, if everything has mental and physical energy, which I don't think is the case, or if it's just saying like chakra in general, like as a general energy metric, like what we get with like Boruto calling centrifugal forces chakra. Like I think that's probably what's going on, but that just depends on like your interpretation of the colloquial usage point. Okay, can I ask you something? I mean, obviously, I want you to respond to that, but afterwards, can I ask you something totally unrelated, just about like the infinite Tsukiyomi shit? Because I feel like that's gonna be the easiest way to get to the end of this and have any kind of resolution.
Let me answer this first.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of thoughts on this anyway. Let me answer this first, and then we can just go straight to that.
Yeah.
I think with the other things, like I said, I don't think that there's an issue with both stamina and chakra running out and then you get to 0. I think with the Orochimaru example, he's saying, Yoroi is absorbing his chakra. If Yoroi is able to absorb both the physical and mental energies and chakra is just comprised of those two components, it's perfectly fine for him to both absorb chakra through it and be able to absorb stamina through it as well, since he can just absorb those two parts. I don't think that's Orochimaru referring to chakra colloquially as physical and mental energies. When it comes to the other examples, like I said, I think that they're saying if you run out of stamina, you die. Stamina and chakra, you die. And if you run out of just chakra, you die because of what I was saying earlier. And then there's the other examples of, just if you run out of chakra, you die. And with the infinite Tsukiyomi, do you want me to just tell you why I think that it's different than the other Genjutsu?
Yeah, because what I was going to get into, like, I'm sure you agree, like, if she stayed to be the first person with chakra on Earth, right, then that means that other people on Earth didn't have chakra at the time. So if that's the case, then Genjutsu just definitively worked on people without chakra in the infinite Tsukiyomi. So then mechanistically, we have to like come to an understanding of like why that would be different from other Genjutsu, right? That's what I wanted to get into next, because I feel like this is going to be the crux of the entire debate right here.
So this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think that these people didn't have the capacity to use chakra. Well, aside from that, I think Infinite Tsukiyomi is different because the Infinite Tsukiyomi doesn't work on Edo Tensei where normal Genjutsu do.
Well, do we know that all normal Genjutsu do?
Well, at least auditory and ocular Genjutsu, they both work on Edo Tensei.
Yeah, one of them is like a sage amped, auditory. The other one's like Kodo Matsukami, which is just stated to be like the best Genjutsu ever. A little weird. I don't think we can apply that same mechanism to like all get. And also, by the way, like it could just target living things because the whole point is to like draw energy from all living things, right?
Wait, hold on. I'll get to that in a second. But when it comes to the genjutsu's working, it was Sasuke Sharingan Genjutsu, Tsukuyomi, and Kodomazu Kami. They all work on
Oh yeah,
Aokizune.
yeah. His like he has Genjutsu that surpasses Itachi's at that point. So it's like that makes sense too.
Yeah, but explicitly not Tsukuyomi.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I was saying Kodo Matsukami, because I'm not sure if Tsukiyomi would, but here, let me grab
Tsukuyomi
this.
would work. What? Would what?
Like if Tsukiyomi would affect Edo Tensei.
Well, Tsukuyomi's worse than Sasuke's Genjutsu.
Right.
Yeah, so probably should.
Well, if Tsukiyomi is worse than Sasuke's, and Sasuke's does work, I mean Sasuke's like could just be the minimum. You know what I mean? But the thing about the Infinite Tsukiyomi
That's
though,
fine. We're just talking about you working on in Edo Tensei.
yeah. So we don't know that Tsukiyomi works in Edo Tensei. That's the point I was making. Because if Sasuke's is better,
Yeah.
then like we just don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it.
No. Sasuke's is worse.
No, Sasuke's is better. He's explicitly stated to have better Genjutsu than
It's,
Itachi.
it's
At that point.
stated it's better than Itachi's outside of Tsukuyomi.
Where did you see that scan at? Every translation I've seen just says he has better Genjutsu and Ninjutsu. Let me see.
Hold up.
Let me grab this.
It's it's in the fourth data book.
Yeah,
You want me to send the raw? 'Cause I know you like doing your own translations.
yeah, that's fine. So this is what I have. If it's that statement, it says transplanting Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan lit up the world with eternal light, giving Sasuke ninjutsu and genjutsu techniques that surpass even his older brothers. He transplanted Itachi's eyes. The transplanted Itachi's own eyes lit up the Mangekyo Sharingan with an eternal light.
Yeah, and then you know the genjutsu that he uses on Itachi, right?
Yeah, it's just
Edo
like
Tensei?
basic Mangekyo Genjutsu, right? Genjutsu.
It's called Genjutsu Sharingan. Hold up.
Yeah.
Let me get this kid. Bro, someone's car alarm is going stupid. Can you hear that?
I can't. Yeah, I think my thing with the Infinite Tsukiyomi is I think it's just targeting living creatures.
You don't think? Wait, hold up. We might not even need to go down this then. You don't think that it works on like the chakra network or anything?
What do you mean? Like I don't think a chakra network is
Do
necessary.
you think that all genjutsu just target living creatures?
No, like I think so. For example, with like the Infinite Tsukiyomi, the goal of it, right, is to like put all living things under Genjutsu and then like suck away their life force, right? So I think we have reason to believe that this is like just targeting those as opposed to the Edo Tensei. That's kind of my point there.
Right,
So if
If you think, hold up,
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
if you think that it works just on living things, and you don't think that genjutsu has the same like prerequisite, then I don't care. We can just stop talking about it.
well, I don't think that it like mechanistically changes like how other Genjutsu would relate like crossverse to like living things or otherwise. Because like so for
Well, I'm
example,
saying I don't care if Infinite Tsukuyomi specifically works as long as you aren't saying that other genjutsu work like the Infinite Tsukuyomi.
oh, I think like in a general mechanistic sense they do, which is why I think it would be like special pleading to say that.
Wait, what do you mean general mechanistic sense?
Right, okay,
You
so-
can't say generally they work the
Yeah,
same and then
yeah,
this
yeah.
one works differently.
So whenever we look at Genjutsu, like what do we know about it? We know that we know that they use the five senses. Generally speaking, most Genjutsu are going to use the five senses, just like the Infinite Tsukiyomi, as a vehicle for activating the Genjutsu, right? So like either ocular Genjutsu or audible Genjutsu, whatever, physical touch, things like that. So they use that as a vehicle, almost all of them. So Infinite Tsukiyomi is the same as those in that way. We also know that they attack the mind. They like present false illusions or like make you see shit. Can overall control like your thought process, right? Check. So what would be the difference, like in a mechanistic
No,
sense?
I don't think. I don't think that it overall controls your thought process.
We know that Genjutsu
Even
generally
under,
does. I
I'm
can
talking
show
about
you.
the Tsukuyomi in the
It produces false
whatchamacall.
illusions. Like, what do you mean? It
Yeah.
puts you like in a dream that
Okay,
you like
hold up.
don't know you're in.
Maybe you need maybe you need to clarify more what you mean by thought process.
Yeah, so like it can make you think things that aren't real. For example, like whenever you have like the infinite Tsukiyomi is producing a dream in your brain and like convincing you that it's real. Like they're all convinced that this thing is real, right? So it's producing illusions in your brain, just like, you know, Taiya's Genjutsu produces an illusion in your brain. Now they know that it's not real, but that's like more of a
Wait, no,
strength of something,
yeah.
right?
I don't have an issue though. I thought
Yeah.
you were I thought when you were talking about thought process, you were saying something else.
By the way, here's this. This is the this is from one of the guides, the 720 quiz guide. And this one just says Genjutsu is a ninjutsu that intervenes in the opponent's mind and controls their actions and five senses, requires special talent. Hypnotic technique used to bewilder the enemy. So it's like, generally speaking, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be controlling the senses, they're going to be controlling the mind. We see that with Infinite Tsukiyomi. So my point is, if the delivery mechanism is the same as it generally is for Genjutsu, five senses, and if the control, like what actually happens, the outcome, is the same as it generally is for Genjutsu, then we have to establish like a symmetry breaker in terms of mechanism in order for us to say that regular Genjutsu wouldn't work in the same way against people without chakra, because otherwise it's
You
just
know,
special pleading.
the symmetry breaker, it's not special pleading, but the symmetry breaker would be that this one doesn't work on Edo Tensei.
Well, we don't know that it doesn't work on them. We just know it doesn't target. Well, I should say all we can gather from it is that it either doesn't work or it doesn't target them.
So what was said by Madara is that the light from the infinite Tsukuyomi penetrates all shadows, and then the light is what puts them under the Genjutsu, right?
Right?
So all the Edo Tensei got hit with that light, but they didn't get put under the Tsukuyomi or infinite Tsukuyomi.
Yeah, but if the light is like whenever you activate the jutsu, if its intention behind it is to target all living things, then we would expect that the Edo Tensei don't get hit by
Well,
it because they're not technically
that's an
living.
assumption.
I mean, it's an
What
assumption to say that they don't or that it doesn't.
No, it's not. What I'm saying is we know that the light is what cast the Genjutsu, and they all got hit with and looked directly at the light and didn't get hit with it.
Sure. Okay, but again, whenever we're talking about, so my whole thing with why like we have at least some reason to believe that it's just targeting living individuals is because the way that it functions is by trapping living individuals in there, keeping them in a hypnotic dream to continuously like pull their energy out of them until they eventually convert into like a white zetsu, right? So
No, that's what the tree does, not what the infinite Tsukuyomi does.
right, but the infinite Tsukiyomi is used in order to do that. Madara specifically says that.
Yeah. Okay. No. That the infinite Tsukuyomi is used in order to, what you would call. Sorry. The infinite Tsukuyomi is used in order for Madara to put everyone under a dream, and then after that he summons the tree.
Yeah, let me pull this up. So here's this guy Madara saying it. So he says, Infinite Tsukiyomi doesn't just cast Genjutsu over you. It keeps you trapped inside Genjutsu dreams so that the caster can use your individual power while maintaining you alive. You're attached to the roots of the
When
God
is that
tree.
said?
I'm reading it right now. It's the scan that I just posted in chat. It's the middle
I
two
didn't know you
panels.
sent something.
Yeah, you're good. So the Infinite Tsukiyomi doesn't just cast Genjutsu over you. It keeps you trapped in Genjutsu dreams so that the caster can use your individual power while maintaining you alive. So that's a part of it. Is like part of the reason for the Infinite Tsukiyomi is to keep you alive so that the user can drain your energy or use you however they want. So if that's the goal of the Infinite Tsukiyomi, it's at least reasonable to assume that it would only target people who could fulfill that goal.
Well, no. That this doesn't even connect to the claim that you originally made. So what it's saying here, yeah, it does keep you alive. And you're trapped inside the Genjutsu, and you're kept alive so that the tree can keep taking power from you. That does not change the fact that the light is what casts the Genjutsu. So the people who are looking into the light should also be under the Genjutsu.
Do you think that A was put under Genjutsu by C whenever the giant flash of light happened in front of his face?
I don't I don't remember that.
So whenever he hits Sasuke with the flash pillar Genjutsu,
Show me the skin.
I got you. I'm gonna pull it up on stream. Should be TG. Do you know what exact chapter this is?
It's like 462,
462. Gotcha.
461.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. Wait, he's already stun locked here, I think. Yeah. So it's right before this. So A is clearly lightning illusion flash pillar. A is clearly right beside this when this light like flashes, and he doesn't get put under Genjutsu, right?
Did he close his eyes?
His eyes are open here when the light is still shining.
That's in the Genjutsu.
This is? Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
I'm tripping. I'm 100% tripping. So here, yeah, I guess we can't even say that he didn't get hit by it. Let me look at this. So he flashes the Genjutsu. Sasuke sees through it, says it's just a Genjutsu, and he's right here. I mean, I guess he could have closed his eyes off screen. I think that's fine. So whenever, I guess with the Infinite Tsukiyomi then, in regard to that, whenever you look at like...
They don't close their eyes.
Well, no, that's fine. I don't even think if they close their eyes, it would matter.
No,
like,
I'm trolling.
Yeah. But for the Infinite Tsukiyomi, so basically my argument's going to be that your position has no explanatory power within the series in regard to why the Edo Tensei aren't affected by it. Mine does. So if my position explains... go ahead.
Wait. There is explanatory power there.
But what is it?
So between the two of us, the two explanations we have are both just assumptions, right? I'm saying that this Genjutsu works on Edo Tensei. I'm sorry, does not. This Genjutsu does not work on Edo Tensei because. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
You good?
Okay. Yeah, my bad. This Genjutsu does not work on Edo Tensei because they how do I want to word this shit? I don't want to I definitely don't want to do what you were doing earlier. It doesn't work on Edo Tensei because I'll word it like this. This Genjutsu doesn't work on Edo Tensei because the mechanism by which it works. No, I don't want to say that. So I'll just say this. I don't feel like explaining it.
Okay.
I don't need an explanation as to why it doesn't work on the Edo Tensei.
What?
It just doesn't, and
Okay.
that's a breaker between the two.
Explanatory
the two
power
Genjutsu.
raises reasonability for a side. That's the point. So if my position has
That's
more...
if the explanation is true.
Well, right, but as so long as it's reasonable, which unless you want to argue it's unreasonable, then like we can get into that. But just really quick,
what's reasonable?
Hold on, just really quick. So my position, right, is the Infinite Tsukiyomi in every other mechanism that we've talked about works exactly the same as every other Genjutsu that we see. In terms of delivery mechanism, 5 senses, control over the mind, and 5 senses. Totally, I think we agree on that. The only difference that we've observed is that this doesn't affect Edo Tensei. So then we're talking about, okay, well, why? If I say, well, the Infinite Tsukiyomi, the whole point of it, according to Madara, is to put these people under a dream so that they can continuously drain their energy while keeping them alive. Well, what that would mean is it's reasonable to assume that this only targets things that would fulfill that purpose, like things that are alive. So that would at least be a reasonable assumption. Doesn't have to be, probability or anything like that, but at least reasonable.
The end purpose is to use their power, right? Therefore, it keeps them alive. You don't need to keep Edo Tensei alive, so it could just use their power anyway.
Well, he specifically says, so that the caster can use your individual power while maintaining you alive. So maintaining you alive is a part of the equation.
No, stop, Sage, stop. I hate when you do that. Why is he saying it's keeping you alive?
He says
what
it keeps
he
you
say right before that.
He says the Infinite Tsukiyomi doesn't just cast Genjutsu over you; it keeps you trapped inside a Genjutsu dreams, so that the caster can use your individual power while maintaining you alive. Yep.
Right. So it traps. Hold up. It traps you in the Genjutsu, while you're maintained alive. The caster using your power, that's just from the God tree, right?
Well, hold on.
But
That's not true. Because look
is
at look at the
true. We
next
see-
panel. What does he say is the infinite Tsukiyomi? The next panel says, "You're attached to the roots of the divine tree and turned into living slaves." That's the infinite Tsukiyomi.
Yeah, that's the full plan of it.
Okay, so the infinite Tsukiyomi, which is the jutsu, right? Because he says the infinite Tsukiyomi doesn't just cast Genjutsu over you. There's a different purpose. It's like it keeps you trapped inside of a realm of Genjutsu dreams so that the caster can use your individual
can do
power
something
while
else.
maintaining you alive. You're attached to the roots of the divine tree and turned into living slaves. That is the infinite Tsukiyomi. So the infinite Tsukiyomi is all of
hold
these
on,
things
wait.
according to Madara.
No, not according to Madara. That's Hagoromo.
Hagoromo, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So the infinite. Hold on. What he says here. Oh my God! Like we can even get the data book as well. 'Cause the data book doesn't support this. That's all the plan of the infinite Tsukiyomi. The infinite Tsukiyomi itself is the casting of the Genjutsu. The other parts you can do without the infinite Tsukiyomi. We see it.
I totally agree with that, but we're talking about what the purpose of the infinite Tsukiyomi is. And if the
No, we
infinite
aren't. No, we aren't.
that's
No,
exactly
no,
what
we
we're
aren't.
talking about.
No, we're not.
Yes.
I told you what I'm talking about.
Okay, hold on.
Stop saying yes. If that's what
Six.
you were talking about, then we're not talking about the same thing.
Okay, well then you went on something different because where this started at was we were talking about whether or not your side has explanatory power in regard to why people that are Edo
We're not
Tensei don't
talking
get hit
about
by
why
that.
my spies. No, Sage. No, we're not. That's not what we're talking about.
Six.
I said I
What?
don't need. Hold up. Listen, fuck. I said I don't need the explanatory power you're talking about because the explanatory power you have is just assumptions, and you said it's a probability raiser. So it's a probability
reasonability raiser.
if what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
You said probability raiser at first, reasonability raiser, whatever, because you said later after that, it's valid if it is reasonable.
Yep.
And whether or not it's reasonable is up to whoever wants to observe.
Well, that's not true.
I don't think it's reasonable.
So by the way, here's at least just the Naruto versity one. This is what the Infinite Tsukiyomi says. If you go down to the bottom of this, or I guess, so it says that in the middle of this, the light emitted by the technique can cross obstacles. So even if a person is hiding in a closed space, he cannot escape. Those who have fallen into infinite dreams are enveloped by the roots of the God tree, which have been expanded on a global scale by God nativity of world of trees and have their chakras sucked away for eternity. So this just agrees with my position that them
No,
being
it
put,
doesn't. It
yes,
said-
hold on, let me finish. This agrees with my position that this is something that's taken into account for this technique.
Okay, Sage. For one, that's not even what I'm talking about. We're talking about the Genjutsu itself being why they use the Genjutsu or the techniques that come afterwards are not relevant. We're talking about why the Genjutsu itself works.
Okay, so it is relevant, and this is why. Okay, so let me give you an example. An extreme.
Wait, stop,
Okay, go ahead.
stop. I wasn't done.
All right, you
I
paused.
was-
Okay, go ahead,
I
go
was
ahead.
pulling the scan up.
You're good.
Yeah, I paused. I was pulling the scan
Yeah,
up.
you're good.
Where is it? What? I was just reading it. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's at the top. On a full moon night, the Rene Sharingan, capable of manipulating the world, is reflected on the moon. And then its light illuminates people on Earth, placing them in eternal Genjutsu.
Keep reading.
Right? No, I'm not going to keep reading. You just read the other part. Why
All
would I keep
right.
reading?
Okay. So let me explain to you why the intent is
No,
important.
Say it. I'm in the no. What the fuck? I didn't read that for no reason.
Okay, so go ahead. Finish what you're saying. You keep pausing.
Okay. I didn't pause. You cut me off. You
I
said
did not
keep
cut you
reading.
off, but go ahead.
Yes, you did.
Go ahead.
Anyway, what the fuck was I even saying? Oh, so I was saying, okay, the light is what places them under Genjutsu, right? And then the tree comes afterwards in order to put them in the tree, and then they become slaves, constantly siphoning off the power. But the light itself is separate as part of the infinite Tsukiyomi. And even if you want to say this, hold up. Sorry. If you think that this is all included in the Genjutsu,
That's
well,
not what
I
I'm
think
saying.
you're stupid. Is that not what you said?
No.
That is what you said.
No. No. Again, what I'm
Yeah,
the whole reason
the
I
tree
brought
doesn't target people without chakra. So
the whole reason I brought that up is because whenever we're talking about the intent, right? So for example, this is an extreme example, but I think you'll agree with me. If Shisui's intent is to put Fugaku under Genjutsu, he's not going to aim it at Itachi, correct?
right.
Okay. If C's intent is to target Sasuke, Jugo, etc. with Genjutsu, he's not going to aim it at A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If that's the
You
case,
understand this jutsu was aimed at the planet, right?
but we don't know that because you're
No,
okay,
we do
how
know that.
how do
We
you
see the
how do,
light
well
on
hold
the-
on how do you think the light leads, how do you think them seeing the light leads to them being put under Genjutsu? What's the mechanism for that?
That's what's stated. What are you talking about?
No, well hold on, you're assuming that just seeing the light automatically puts them under Genjutsu. Why?
That's what's stated.
Hold on. Okay, but seeing the light, like putting them under Genjutsu, you're assuming that just the photons themselves that are reflected put them under Genjutsu. There's no chakra involved or anything.
I mean, obviously there's chakra involved.
Okay, so do you think the chakra is being transmitted through the light?
Obviously.
Okay, so if the chakra is only targeting people who are alive, then we wouldn't expect for Edo Tensei to be hit by it, correct?
No. Oh my fucking God, dude. No, the chakra is just in the light.
All of it?
Yes, that's what's
How do we
stated.
know that? It's not stated that it's in. It's not
what's
stated that the
stated.
chakra
That
is
is
in
what's
every
stated.
single ray of light. No, it's not. Where is that stated?
Sage. It's stated that the light illuminates the people on Earth, placing them in Genjutsu. The light is what does it.
Okay, but you just said though it's not just the light; it's the chakra in the light, or that's being transferred by the light. Correct?
The light has the chakra.
Awesome,
What are you talking
perfect,
about?
perfect. Love that. So you would need for all of the light to have the chakra, and for the chakra to actively go into those Edo Tensei
Hey, Sage,
in order for that to
I'm done
work.
talking to you. I'm done talking to you. I don't want to talk anymore.
Okay, do you want to just close it out really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go first. Unless you want to go second. It's up to you.
No, I'm done. You can give your conclusions if you want. I'm
Okay,
leaving.
so basically, Six agrees that the infinite Tsukiyomi was used on people who didn't have chakra. If that's the case, then Genjutsu, in some aspects, works on people who don't have chakra. If that's the case, then, I mean, that demonstrates that Genjutsu, in some sense, works cross-verse. We then got into whether or not the...
No, Sage, hold up. No.
Go ahead.
I'm glad I stayed. You're being fucking disingenuous.
I'm not being
I said
disingenuous.
at the beginning, yes, I said
Okay,
at the
go.
beginning that my position is not that the infinite Tsukiyomi will not work. I do not really care about that.
That's fine. I didn't say that. I never said that your position
You
was that.
said that I agreed. Okay, so Genjutsu works in some sense cross-verse. No.
No, I said you agree that it works on people without chakra. That's what I said.
And
Okay, so if it works on people without chakra, then chakra isn't a prerequisite in the target for somebody to be affected by Genjutsu. That's what I just said. You're not listening.
what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Okay,
moron?
so if somebody
Our
doesn't, so if
positions
somebody,
are-
hold on,
our
I'm not.
positions are-
Six.
No,
I'm not
no,
addressing
no,
your.
no.
Oh my God, Six.
I
Why,
don't
why are
care-
you?
I don't
Why
care if
why,
you're
why
not-
would
no,
you
Sage,
dip out
Sage,
and then
Sage,
come
stop,
back
stop,
and then
stop,
interrupt
stop,
and
stop.
misinterpret what I'm saying? You're not
I'm
listening.
not misinterpreting what you're
Okay, then
saying.
repeat to
I'm
me
not
word for word what I
misinterpreting
said, then, motherfucker. Go ahead.
No, fuck you, nigga.
Okay,
You
go,
said fuck
okay. Then
you,
you
none of
you
that
don't know
shit.
what the fuck the
What I'm
argument is.
saying
You're not
no,
tracking. You haven't been this whole
listen,
time. Go ahead.
Listen. No, I am tracking.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is you're trying to get a sneaky little W because
No, I'm
you're
not.
retarded and can't debate. You didn't win any.
You
points.
got cooked.
Oh,
You got cooked.
you
It's so
works in
bad.
some sense.
Oh my God, you're washed.
I'm just
Go
saying.
ahead. Go ahead.
Fucking moron.
Go ahead. Okay. Do you want to give a conclusion?
No, I still don't want to give a conclusion.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to finish with my conclusion. So basically, what we established in this debate, is number one, he never, ever, at any point, demonstrated or even argued for the fact that his counter argument in regard to Jiraiya saying that people always are molding chakra, his evidence for that, he never once substantiated that mixing and spinning or spinning them or twirling them, whatever the fuck it is the same thing. So that point goes through on my end because Six couldn't defend it. Six was unable to defend that. So that means that his point.
I
Hold
gave a
on,
defense
you
for that,
got it.
Sage.
No, you didn't.
No.
So whenever he's talking about unconsciously swirling those energies around, he delineates between mixing the energies and swirling them. I think from your position, you're going to have to justify that those two things are the same process. If they're not the same process,
Bro, Sage, hold up. No.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And we can go earlier to that like random possibility thing that I kept bringing up, the infinite regress. I'm not doing what you just said. That is fucking ridiculous.
okay, well, that's fine. You don't have to. But if you can't substantiate that these two things he's talking about, where he uses two different words of the same process, then this doesn't like prove what you're saying. But we can steel man it and we can move on from that.
I already told you earlier.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not responding.
We can move
That's
on from that
fucking
then.
ridiculous. No, stop.
Okay,
being
what was
disingenuous.
the defense
There's a
then?
for that.
Mixing and
The
twirling.
defense was the earlier thing I brought up about the infinite possibilities. There needs to be a substantiation for the possibility being brought up.
That's not
I
how
said
that works.
And then shut up, bitch ass nigga.
That's not how that
Then I
works.
also
You're
said,
stupid, bro.
shut up,
You don't
bitch ass
understand
nigga.
debate.
I'm
Like,
not
holy
done.
shit.
I'm not done.
Okay,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
done. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
done. Bitch ass nigga. I was saying
Go ahead.
that for one, and then I said the two things about Haron being born with chakra and Kushina being born with chakra.
That doesn't matter. That literally doesn't help you. Because again, you never substantiated that chakra in its complete form, as we're talking about, is always being molded. So therefore, because you were using that as a counter for the physical and mental energy stamina thing being the colloquial usage of chakra, you were using that as a counter for that. You have to justify that in order for that to go through. That's exactly what that was about. Okay, so again, so whenever we talk about that, he never substantiated that. He literally just appealed to a previous claim that he made that he also never substantiated. Then we arrive at the conclusion, at least from that point in the debate, that Six was unable to justify that people passively mold chakra. The only part of this debate that he was able to like get any kind of fight on was in basically saying, oh, well, the chart from Ebisu isn't entirely accurate, but then I beat him up on that as well because I showcased that, okay, he addresses it in what he's saying, and then he's giving a general demonstration in the chart, much like what we get whenever people, bring up the chakra and stamina, draining to zero. It's more of a general thing, much like whenever Jiraiya is talking about Genjutsu works like X, despite the fact that we know it's a general statement. So it doesn't always have to be perfect one-to-one. I brought that up. He never really addressed it. We moved on to something else. So he never defended the idea that Sage Mode has passive sensory, so never justified the idea that Naruto would have any level of reliability in terms of deciding whether or not everybody on Earth has chakra, so that point doesn't go through. So what we have right now is none of his actual primary points went through at all because he was unwilling to defend them, because he went to, it's going to be an infinite regression. All that means is I can't defend my take from my perspective respectfully. If you make a claim and somebody says, well, it's possible this is going on, and you're like, you know what, I actually don't want to defend it. You give up on the point. That's what's happening. So if you can't substantiate your claims, then don't make them, or at least try to provide probability for your side. Six didn't try to do that. So whenever we get to the end of this with the infinite Tsukiyomi, and he concedes the idea that infinite Tsukiyomi works on people without chakra, then that eliminates the idea that chakra is a prerequisite for at least this Genjutsu working in terms of like the target possessing chakra. If that's true, then we have to establish a symmetry breaker mechanistically between infinite Tsukiyomi and regular Genjutsu in order to say that regular Genjutsu wouldn't work on people without chakra. Six pointed to the idea that it was not working on Edo Tensei. I then asked him, why do you think that is? He literally stammered and stuttered for 5 minutes straight trying to find an excuse, and eventually came out to, I don't know, it just doesn't. So then I provided explanatory power from my side, basically saying, well, we know that it targets living people because it's intrinsically tied to their goal of absorbing all of these people's chakra and keeping them alive. Therefore, there's at least explanatory power on my side in the sense of it's not going to affect the Edo Tensei because it's not targeting them because they're not alive. He never provided any sort of explanatory power on his side. Anybody who knows Philosophy 101 knows that the side with more explanatory power and more argumentative weight wins the point. So that point goes through on my end as well. Like, I'm sorry, Six, bro. Like, this was one of those things where I got heated in certain instances because I feel like you want to be able to make claims without justifying them. And that is so frustrating to me. But we allowed for Steelmans to go through several times so that we could just continue to progress the debate. But we're now 3 hours into it, and I feel like 90% of this was just stuff where you were going into details that really didn't matter and then never actually finishing through on the points. And instead, we had to continue to steelman them because you couldn't justify your positions at the end of those roads. So that's my perspective on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got cooked, but I appreciate you for having this debate. It was actually a good time for 90% of it. The 10% where we got heated, obviously, probably said some shit shouldn't have said. Apologize for that. But, I think it was a good time otherwise. That's my conclusion.